Chapter 1224. Lu Maiage's heart trembled violently upon hearing these words. She had been attending to her father's physical body for these past few days, well aware that he was in a state of utter fatigue. The words he spoke now clearly conveyed his desire to return to his roots and die on Qingzhou Mountain. Miaoge, your dad has lived to a ripe old age, and seeing you and Chongqing achieve so much, I have no regrets. Lu Yuanding's aged face had a tinge of red glow as he spoke to his daughter. All right, let's go home, Xianer. Let's accompany Grandpa back home. Lu Chongqing took a deep breath and nodded. Although he was still concerned about Bai Ling back home, he was ready to accompany his father-in-law, Lu Yuanding, on his final journey. The next day, the news about the incident in Red Leaf Valley Market, where the daughter of the master of Bihu Mountain, Lu Chongqing, had slain 5 Foundation establishment robber cultivators, quickly spread among all nearby family forces and continued to ferment, spreading throughout the entire Qingyun region. The news was astonishing. For an average Foundation establishment cultivator, being able to overpower those of higher cultivation levels or fight against multiple opponents would already be remarkable. Yet Lu Wangshu managed to kill 5 Foundation establishment cultivators at the early stage of Foundation establishment, which was simply unbelievable. How could someone at the early stage of Foundation establishment kill 5 Foundation establishment cultivators? That's impossible. If you said he was at the late stage of Foundation establishment killing 5 at the early stage, that might make sense, but at the early stage, how could he possibly possess such strength? Exactly. What does this make other Foundation establishment cultivators look like? Punching bags? Back in the day, Lu Chongqing only killed 3 Foundation establishment cultivators. Many people doubted and questioned the news when they heard it, as such a thing was too fantastical to believe. However, many witnesses observed the event that day, so quite a few people accepted it as fact. Talisman cultivator, top-tier talisman path inheritance, drawing talismans in the void? A battle burning through hundreds of talismans. Doesn't that mean it's equivalent to spending tens of thousands of spirit stones on a single fight? No wonder it was so fierce. This isn't a contest of skill, it's burning money. Those spirit stones could have been spent on hiring assassins. Master of Bihu Mountain, Lu Chongqing, became famous for his talisman path in his early years. Who would have thought that after several decades, such an extraordinary successor would emerge in his house? I remember Lu Chongqing also had a son called Lu Pingon, who at the early stage of Foundation establishment repelled a veteran Foundation establishment cultivator. Now a daughter appears who at the early stage can kill 5 Foundation establishment cultivators. What's with the Lu family? Hiss, now that you mention it, this Lu ancestor's fertility seems rather exceptional. CTH novel. F. Iyer. Net website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. I've heard that Lu ancestor in his early years was known for his love of women, taking many concubines and having many children. Could it be that he has some sort of special spiritual body for childbirth? Many people discussed animatedly, marveling at Lu Wangshu's combat prowess. And while they talked, they speculated about whether Lu Chongqing possessed any special fertility spiritual body. Flower Fruit Mountain was attacked, and the defending Lu family disciple Lu Qingxian used some technique to drive away 3 Foundation establishment cultivators single-handedly, suspected of killing all 3. What's going on with Bihu Mountain? Why are its family's young ones each so fierce? They are nearly on par with the core disciples of the immortal sects. Thunderfire attribute technique? Wasn't Lu Chongqing notable for his talisman path? Where did the Thunderfire attribute technique inheritance come from? Lu Qingshan, Lu Pingon, Lu Wangshu, Lu Qingxian. Such fortune. It seems that Lu Chongqing might very well possess some kind of fertility spiritual body. The matter of Flower Fruit Mountain and Lu Qingxian was overshadowed by the brilliance of Lu Wangshu and was not widely known, with only various forces being aware. These forces were utterly shocked upon hearing both pieces of news. After all, one could easily justify Lu Pingan's situation as normal. One could still barely justify Lu Wangshu's situation, acknowledging that Lu Chongqing indeed has strong vitality. But now another Lu Qingxian has appeared. Familial powers like some major families are also aware of Lu Qingshan's situation, thus seriously suspecting something is amiss with Lu Chongqing. At this moment, these family forces are even more wary of Bihu Mountain. Had there not been this probing attempt, this move, who would have known that Bihu Mountain had hidden such depth, suddenly revealing 2 such fierce children? One might suddenly encounter a few more ferocious children any day. No, with a situation like that at Bihu Mountain, if it rises to prominence, where would there be a place for us to stand? The emergence of so many foundation establishment cultivators in Bihu Mountain must be related to the family's alchemists. By now, announcing the offer of free foundation building elixir on one hand shows they have accumulated enough strength, and on the other hand, it's also a way to earn spirit stones and foundation establishment resources. Exactly, and each foundation establishment cultivator requires a considerable amount of resources. Bihu Mountain's business of only spiritual fish and puppets definitely cannot support such expenses. As long as we cut off the Lu Family Commerce Association, no matter how many foundation establishment cultivators they have in the future, they'll run out of money to cultivate them. We absolutely cannot allow Bihu Mountain to establish a successful commerce association. Instantly, many powers realize that the Lu family is still only working within their own limited domain. But once the commerce association is established, it may bring calamity to these family powers, leading to direct financial loss. If Lu Chongxing truly possesses such a special spiritual body and has children with me, maybe this Lu Pingan's mother is just a mortal, and Lu Qingxuan's mother was just a servant girl to Lu Chongxing in his early years. As a foundation establishment cultivator, if I become a Dao companion with Lu Chongxing and bear children, many forces are thinking about stifling the Lu Family Commerce Association to hinder its development. But there are also many forces considering using this opportunity to form good relations with Bihu Mountain, marrying into a union with Lu Chongxing, becoming Dao companions, and then producing several exceptionally talented children. Even if these children belong to Bihu Mountain, as long as they are properly educated, they could still favor their maternal family in the future. Apart from the shock from outside, the news of Lu Wangshu's endeavors also spread back to Bihu Mountain, startling countless Lu family disciples. They knew this sister was formidable, but they never expected her to be this formidable. All of a sudden, everyone seemed to understand why their father cherished Lu Wangshu so much. One person slaying 5 foundation establishments. Lu Caizhen and Lu Xingchen, who had just reached foundation establishment, were all feeling moved. They felt like trash compared to Lu Wangshu. It seems that only Ling Xiao can be compared to Sister Wangshu. Lu Xingchen thought of the time when Lu Ling Xiao had a breakthrough, and his father mentioned that he had a spiritual body, pondering in his heart. I wonder, once I've raised over 10,000 iron fire ants, if I'll possess such combat power. In a courtyard, Lu Chensha heard the news and gazed at the iron fire ants in his blood nest bag, murmuring to himself. No wonder father had Sister Wangshu stationed at Red Leaf Valley Market. Lu Xingyang was full of feelings. When his father asked him to find his sister, Lu Wangshu, to guard Red Leaf Valley Market, he felt that this sister wasn't very reliable. Now it seems that the father had far-reaching insight and had long been aware of her strength. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1225. Lu Chongxing was not too clear about the outside world's discussions, nor did he care. He had been living quietly in Qingzhou Mountain these days with his wife Lu Miaoge, son Lu Qingxian, and daughter Lu Qingqi, accompanying his father-in-law on his last journey. Daddy, if I seriously learn to draw talismans, can I be like Sister Wangshu? Lu Qingqi had seen Lu Wangshu's capabilities in Red Leaf Valley Market and aspired to be like her. You can ask your sister Wangshu for advice in your daily life. CTH Novelfire. Net ** website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. Lu Chongxing did not directly answer, gently stroking his daughter's hair, and spoke in a gentle voice. I asked Sister Wangshu before, and she told me to just be happy and enjoy food and drink every day, not to think too much. Lu Qingqi pouted as she spoke. Lu Chongxing paused, thinking that such words could only come from Lu Wangshu. Dad, a talisman cultivator can casually use hundreds of talismans, but once the talismans run out, doesn't that mean their strength will greatly diminish? Lu Qingxian, who was at his side, voiced a question. He had been accompanying his grandfather Lu Yuanding at that time, so he did not witness Lu Wangshu slaying 5 robber cultivators. He only heard that this sister used up several hundred talismans in the act. Yes, this is one of the drawbacks of being a talisman cultivator. Lu Chongxing slightly nodded, explaining the strengths and weaknesses of talisman cultivators to his children. In the courtyard, Lu Yuanding lay in a recliner, looking towards Lu Chongxing, clad in a green robe and handsome, talking to his children in the distance. His thoughts involuntarily drifted back to over 60 years ago, when he had brought Lu Chongxing back to Qingzhou Mountain from the foot of Qing Yun's sect. He vaguely remembered hesitating when he first heard that Lu Chongxing had only a 9th-grade spiritual root. Who would have thought that the country boy rejected by Qing Yun's sect would grow to such an extent unnoticed? Lu Yuanding's mouth curled in a faint smile, and a flurry of memories swept through his mind like flickering scenes. Chongxing. Lu Yuanding's throat bobbed, calling out hoarsely, with a weak and breathless voice. Dad. Lu Miaoge was using her mana to nourish her father's physical body at his side. But Lu Yuanding's essence, qi, and spirit had already dried up, almost completely gone, rendering it useless. Father-in-law. Lu Chongxing immediately approached the old man. Even though he had experienced such farewells as the fourth elder before, his heart was still filled with complicated emotions. Chongxing. Lu Yuanding slightly lifted his hand, grasping Lu Changsheng's wrist, his voice seemingly carrying a plea. Chongxing, Qing Shan has exceptional talent but is too arrogant. As a father, if you see him, you need to discipline him more. Little Zhu is smart inside and out, and having her by Qing Shan's side will make him restrain his nature a lot. But the two of them staying outside for long still is not as safe as being at home. Should they encounter danger or trouble, it would be a big problem. Xianer is intelligent and steady, he can manage the household and attain greatness in the future. Cher, like Huan, is playful and mischievous, yet her thoughts are pure, requiring a lot of your paternal tolerance and protection. Now that Qing Song has established his family, I am much more at ease, but all your siblings at home are too outstanding, each holding their breath in rivalry. When you have time, you should take care and pay more attention to him. The old man muttered, his voice growing fainter and weaker, scarcely having enough strength, as if he was making final arrangements. He was very reassured about his two daughters. The only thing he could not let go of now was his grandsons. Lu Miaoge's eyes were red, and tears streamed down her face. Father-in-law, rest assured, I will take good care of them. Lu Chongxing, upon hearing the old man's last words, felt a heavy weight on his heart, and while holding his wife's hand tightly, he spoke in earnest. Good. The old man, upon hearing this, nodded in relief. Then he gently turned to look at his grandchildren by his side. Xianer, Cher, don't be too sad, you must be as outstanding as your brothers and sisters in the future. After speaking, the hand holding Lu Changsheng's palm slowly loosened, and with a peaceful smile, he closed his eyes. Dad! Overwhelmed by emotion, Lu Miaoge cried out in sorrow. Although she had always been aware of her father's condition, now that the moment truly arrived before her eyes, she found it hard to maintain her composure. Grandfather! Lu Qingqi, who had a delicate little face, was also in sorrow, tears flowing. Lu Qingxian pursed his lips, not crying out loud, but his eyes were red. Over the years, he had always been in Qingzhou Mountain, very close to his grandfather Lu Yuanding. Lu Chongxing silently held his wife and children. Once his wife's mood stabilized, he informed Lu Yuanzhong, intending to hold a joyous funeral for Lu Yuanding. Lu Yuanding had arranged everything in advance before his life ended, instructing that the funeral should not be elaborately conducted. Lu Miaoge chose to follow her father's last wishes. Nevertheless, given that Lu Yuanding was an elder of Qingzhou Mountain and the father of Lu Miaoge, as well as the father-in-law of Lu Chongxing, the funeral was still quite grand, with many family forces voluntarily coming to pay their respects. Dad! Lu Miaohuan from Bai Lake Mountain, upon hearing the news, felt an ineffable sorrow well up within her. Lu Miaoyun, who had experienced such things before, actively comforted her cousin. After Lu Wangshu took charge of White Tiger Mountain, Lu Qingsong also immediately came to Qingzhou Mountain. Sigh! Lu Chongxing, looking at the aged Lu Yuanzhong, with only a few familiar faces left around from the old times of Qingzhou Mountain, sighed softly. Unknowingly, he had outlived generation after generation. Perhaps in a few decades, there would be no one left in Qingzhou Mountain that he knew in his early years. 5 days later, Lu Chongxing returned to Bai Lake Mountain with his wife and children. Huan. Upon his return, he first went to visit his wife Lu Miaohuan. Without even thinking, he knew she must have been deeply grieving these days. Woohoo Lu Chongxing! Lu Miaohuan, with her mature and gorgeous makeup, broke down like a child in his arms, crying out loud, releasing the sadness she had bottled up inside. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., Please let us know report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 12:26. Mother, don't be sad. Grandfather also hopes for you to be happy. Beside her, Lu Qingqi pressed her little face and held her mother's hand, speaking to comfort her. Lu Miaohuan wiped away the tear stains on her face, concealing her grief and sorrow with a gentle voice. Mother's fine. Lu Chongxing sighed inwardly, quietly accompanying his wife alongside their daughter. Wow, mother, you didn't see it. Sister Wang Shu whooshed and flew out so many talismans. Lu Qingqi vividly narrated the battle at Red Leaf Valley Market to her mother. She wasn't exactly admiring the might of such means, but she found them splendidly cool, especially when in the end, the talismans condensed into a phoenix. Wang Shu is so powerful. Isn't that to say even more so than you, father, back in the day? Lu Miaohuan said with some surprise. She still remembered the time her sister broke through to Foundation Establishment, and the dashing vigor with which Lu Chongxing alone vanquished the 3 Foundation Establishment members of the Yu family. The 3 from the Yu family back then were not my limit, but the Yu family's limit. Lu Chongxing chuckled softly and spoke lightly. The couple had been together for many years. Naturally, he wouldn't be overly modest, still hiding things. Daddy, I heard grandfather saying that back then. Lu Qingqi suddenly voiced out, asking about the battle that took place years ago. Even though grandfather had told her about it, her interest had piqued once again. Back then. Lu Chongxing held his wife and jovially recounted certain events from the past to his daughter. In the evening, during the family meal, Lu Yun came to pay his respects. He expressed that he had made up his mind and chose to cultivate the heavenly longevity technique. Good, I will arrange for it after a few days, Lu Chongxing said upon hearing this. The spirit vein of Bai Yun Peak is about to be promoted to a top-grade 2nd rank. When the promotion happens, the 2 nurturing branch veins connected to it will also form alongside Bai Yun Peak's promotion, rising as 2 smaller peaks on either side of it. He had already planned and arranged for the new Heaven and Earth spiritual plant to be planted on these 2 mountains. Thank you, father, Lu Yun said respectfully after hearing this. Moments later, Lu Caizhen also came to pay her respects to Lu Chongxing. Caizhen, what's the matter? Lu Chongxing asked with a smile, seeing his daughter hesitate to speak. Father and daughter went to a side hall. Search * the novel Fire. Net website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. Lu Caizhen took out a porcelain bottle from her storage bag and opened it. Inside was a Foundation Establishment elixir. Father, this is what brother left for me, and now that I have reached Foundation Establishment I want to give this Foundation Establishment elixir to my husband. Lu Caizhen looked at Lu Chongxing, pursing her lips and spoke softly. She herself knew the rarity of a Foundation Establishment elixir. Having relied on one from home to break through Foundation Establishment, and now giving another to Hong Xuanji, seemed somewhat inappropriate. Moreover, their family is currently in the limelight, watched by many forces. If Hong Xuanji attempts Foundation Establishment, whether successful or not, it could catch the attention of others, and bring about trouble. Since Chuanjin gave it to you, how to allocate this Foundation Establishment elixir is your own affair, Lu Chongxing chuckled softly. He knew early on that his son Lu Chuanjin had in his possession multiple Foundation Establishment elixirs. But he didn't know that Lu Chuanjin had given one to Lu Caizhen. However, as for giving the Foundation Establishment elixir to Hong Xuanji, he had no objections. After all, the couple had been married for many years. As a father, he couldn't possibly prevent his daughter from giving it away, could he? Besides, Hong Xuanji, as his son-in-law and an old friend's son, had worked diligently in by Lake Mountain for decades with no lack of toil. You can just discuss this with Xuanji yourself. The family can provide him with a cave mansion for his breakthrough, Lu Chongxing said after a slight pondering. He knew his daughter came to him not only to confess about the Foundation Establishment elixir, but also hoping the family could provide Hong Xuanji with a cave mansion. Otherwise, Hong Xuanji would have to go to Immortal City or Qingyun Market for his Foundation Establishment attempt. But in Immortal City, Qingyun Market, the journey is long. Without connections, it's not easy to rent a cave mansion, and one would need to wait in line for a long time. Thank you, father. Hearing this, Lu Caizhen's beautiful and fair face revealed a smile. If Xuanji succeeds in his Foundation Establishment, at this stage, unless it's a matter of life and death, he should also not reveal his Foundation Establishment strength, Lu Chongxing said to his daughter. While he agreed to his son-in-law's foundation establishment, family secrets had to remain within the family. Don't worry, father. Your daughter understands. Lu Caizhen knew her father agreed to this matter out of consideration for herself and her father-in-law Hong Yi, so naturally, she wouldn't ask for too much. The matter of your foundation establishment, aside from Xuanji, for the time being, try not to spread it. Wait a few more years and I will arrange, Lu Chongxing continued to instruct. Don't worry, father. Having lived through many years, Lu Caizhen was no longer naive and fully aware of the stakes. MHM. In terms of foundation establishment insights, you can guide Xuanji and help him prepare in advance. Lu Chongxing nodded slightly, with no further comments. He wasn't worried about his children leaking the details of Mount Sumeru Cave Heaven. Once the children divulged such family secrets, the Lu family genealogy would sense it and provide a warning. Thanks, Dad. Lu Caizhen departed joyfully, feeling relieved and unburdened of her worries. I wonder how Chuanjin is doing now. At this moment, Lu Chongxing thought of his son Lu Chuanjin. This son, not long after his foundation establishment, went out to travel, claiming he would visit Azure Phoenix Immortal City and then go to the Jin Kingdom for experience. For over 20 years, there had been no news. If it weren't for the system, Lu family genealogy, Lu Chongxing would even worry that his son had met with an accident. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1227. However, through the system, Lu Chongxing knew that his son's condition should be fine. His cultivation level had broken through to the 4th layer of foundation establishment 4 years ago. Jin Kingdom. Thinking of this place, Lu Chongxing took a deep breath and slowly exhaled. In his earlier years, he had thought of going directly to Jin Kingdom after reaching core formation. But now with a pile of issues at home, he couldn't leave just yet. He would have to wait until everything at home was stable and Hong Lian was in charge before he could feel at ease to head to Jin Kingdom. Jin Kingdom. Chu Chongtian, I'll see where you can run to today. In a range of mountains, over 10 cultivators were in pursuit of a young man in a black robe. Leading them was a tall man with a cultivation level of the late stage of foundation establishment. He was maneuvering a giant sword exotic treasure, constantly slashing towards the young man in the black robe, causing the mountains to rumble and ravines to form, with Chen Sha rolling down. The young man in the black robe was no ordinary person either. He moved like a sky pung, as fast as lightning, continuously dodging the attacks. When in mortal danger, a golden light filled with a bloodthirsty aura would shoot out, dissipating part of the offensive force against him. Whoosh! Just then, the golden light suddenly turned towards the tall man wielding the giant sword exotic treasure. Humph! The tall man faced the golden light with a cold snort. His body was covered in a green shimmering armor that glistened brightly, forming a light screen 3 feet in front of him. Clang! The sound of metal clashing rang out, the light screen shattered, but the golden light could advance no further, immediately turning around and vanishing without a trace. This 6-winged golden silkworm is indeed extraordinary. If it weren't for my green vine armor, such an attack would indeed be dangerous. The tall man narrowed his eyes, touched his chest, and continued to direct his mana to chase the young man in the black robe with the exotic treasure giant sword. The others behind him found it difficult to keep up with the pace of the two, and were gradually left behind. If this continues, it will be hard to shake them off, and eventually my mana will run out. This young man in the black robe was none other than Lu Chuanjin, who was out gaining experience. After a brief visit to Azure Phoenix Immortal City in his early years, he came straight to the cultivation world of Jin Kingdom. Although it was more chaotic and ruthless than Jiang Country, he found it relatively adaptable. However, in the previous years, the marketplace he was in was suddenly the battleground of 2 factions, and as collateral damage, he fled, killing a feminine young man in the process. Who knew that this young man turned out to be an elder of the Yiming ghost sect, son of a ghost demon Zhenren. Since then, he was hunted by the ghost demon Zhenren, and his escape began. Thankfully, the cultivation world of Jin Kingdom is so vast that even a nascent soul immortal would have difficulty capturing someone who keeps a low profile. Several months ago, he was recognized during a fight due to his 6-winged golden silkworm, and that once again spurred pursuit. At this moment, Lu Chuanjin saw a continuous forest to the south. Saw the novel, F.I.R. at website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. A layer of purple-black mist seemed to loom over the entire forest, like poisonous or miasmic gas, eerily cold and sinister. Lu Chuanjin narrowed his eyes slightly and immediately flew towards the forest. Black mist swamp? The tall man saw the direction in which Lu Chuanjin was escaping and his eyes narrowed. The Black Mist Swamp had a not-so-small reputation in Jin Kingdom, with a poison miasma that lingered throughout the year and was difficult to dispel. This poison not only eroded a cultivator's chi blood and physical body, but also had the effect of blocking divine sense. For a regular Foundation establishment cultivator, it was impossible to use divine sense within the Black Mist Swamp. Thus, the Black Mist Swamp was extremely dangerous, and normal Foundation establishment cultivators couldn't survive there for long before the poison would erode and corrupt their chi blood and physical body. Even a nascent soul immortal entering it would be suppressed due to their divine sense being blocked, making it difficult to defend against dangers. Chu Chongtian, now you have no path to heaven and no door to earth. Where can you escape to? The tall man trailed at the back, slowing down his pace, not in a hurry to chase. After all, if Lu Chuanjin dared to venture deep into the swamp, he only needed to seal off the area with more people. There's something wrong with this forest ahead. Hearing these words, Lu Chuanjin immediately realized there was a problem with the forest ahead and that he shouldn't enter recklessly. But seeing the people catching up from behind, he looked at the forest swirling with purple-black miasma, gritted his teeth, and decided to take a risk. After all, under the current situation, it was impossible for him to shake off his pursuers, and his only option was to seek a slim chance of survival using this forest. Kid, if you have the guts, you can go in. The tall man pushed forward with the exotic treasure giant sword, gradually approaching, and said with a sinister smile. Swoosh! Lu Chuanjin rushed into the black mist forest, and instantly a surge of poison miasma hit his face, as if it wanted to corrode his flesh. His black magical robe flapped, with spiritual light flowing around his body. He ran swiftly trying to find another way out. You think you can just leave? It's not that simple. The tall man immediately entered the forest, following closely behind Lu Chuanjin like a ghost. Moments later, the dozen or so people who had come with him, hesitating slightly at the sight of the purple-black miasma twirling around the forest, also stormed in, blocking the direction Lu Chuanjin had taken, leaving him with no choice but to move deeper into the forest. After Lu Chuanjin ventured several miles in, he suddenly felt that the poison miasma here was several times more intense. Even with the magical robe's spiritual light protecting his body, threads of poison gas penetrated his pores, entering his body, eroding his flesh and blood. I must say, gentlemen, if you go on chasing me, even if I am eroded by the poison miasma, you won't fare much better, will you? Lu Chuanjin shouted to the people behind him. We can hold on at this level. You can keep on running if you're capable, the tall man said coldly. In this area, the purple-black miasma made his vision hazy, unable to see too far, so he didn't chase too closely to avoid Lu Quanzhen's sneak attack using the six-winged golden silkworm or starting a fight here. After all, once they engaged in battle, the miasma entering the body would be very troublesome. He just joined the others in loosely encircling Lu Quanzhen's position, waiting for an opportunity. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1228. Lu Chuanjin continued to run for several miles. The poisonous miasma here was even more intense, like a water mist drifting hazily through the air. Even though Lu Quanzhen's physical body was extraordinary, and he was protected by a magical robe and magic barrier, he could still feel his flesh being eroded by strands of poison. How can this youth, who has just broken through to the mid-stage of Foundation establishment, persist for so long? The tall man watched Lu Quanzhen's unceasing flight, his face growing dark. He thought that after entering the Black Mist Swamp, the other party wouldn't be able to hold on for much longer. Yet so much time had passed, and he was still like someone unaffected. We can't go any further. This is the true Black Mist Swamp, filled with many dangers. Poisonous insects and fierce beasts could appear at any time. The tall man said loudly to the others. This statement also reached Lu Quanzhen's ears. But he paid no heed and continued onward. Damn it, how deep this kid has penetrated. Could it be that he has some kind of method to fearlessly face the poisonous miasma of the Black Mist Swamp? The tall man looked at Lu Chuanjin, almost disappearing into the poison fog, his face changing between shades of light and dark, eventually deciding to give up the pursuit. After a series of assassination attempts, He had already realized that Lu Chuanjun was no ordinary person. Now that he had entered the Black Mist Swamp, continuing the chase could likely put himself in jeopardy as well. Immediately, the tall man instructed his men to seal off the area. He then led a few people to retreat, waiting for Lu Chuanjun to appear. After all, the poison of the Black Mist Swamp was pervasive, always eroding a cultivator's flesh and blood, necessitating the use of mana to isolate it. And the spiritual energy of the Black Mist Swamp was mixed with the poison, which ordinary cultivators could not absorb and refine. They could only rely on elixir medicines and spirit stones for recovery. Therefore, even if Lu Chuanjun had unusual methods, he couldn't possibly hide inside for long. Given up, huh? Seeing that the tall man and others had abandoned the chase, Lu Quanzhen's eyes narrowed slightly, pondering on how to break through the encirclement. It was extremely difficult to break the siege now. The only way was the substitute talisman given by his father. But unless it was absolutely necessary, when truly trapped with no way out, he did not want to use that substitute talisman. After thinking for a long time, Lu Chuanjun finally came up with a method. But he was also not sure if this method was feasible, and hesitated somewhat. Uncle taught me Kuanping swallowing heaven demon god technique, with the yin-yang 5 elements Kuanping technique as the upper part and Kuanping devouring heaven demonic technique as the lower part. This Kuanping devouring heaven demonic technique can devour the origin source of living beings and all kinds of spiritual energy from heaven and earth. Perhaps it can also consume the poisonous miasma and poison gas here. Lu Chuanjun mused to himself. Although Uncle had instructed not to practice the latter half of Kuanping devouring heaven demonic technique before achieving core formation, he had contemplated this part of the demonic techniques after turning the 5 elements Kuanping technique into the yin-yang 5 elements Kuanping technique. He understood why his uncle did not allow him to cultivate this technique. Because it is a forbidden technique, an outright demonic technique. It refines the essence, qi and spirit of other living beings for one's own use by devouring them. Once one cultivates it, unless one abandons the technique, there is no way to switch to other cultivation techniques. Moreover, during the cultivation process, because it involves devouring the origin source, essence, qi and spirit of others, it is very easy to be affected in one's temperament, leading to deviation, or even bodily explosion and death. And breaking through realms with this technique is several times more difficult than with ordinary techniques. Breaking through core formation from foundation establishment may trigger a heart demon tribulation, or even a heavenly tribulation. Although I have not cultivated the later part, yin-yang 5 elements Kuanping technique and Kuanping devouring heaven demonic technique are one and the same. Through the refinement secret technique within, maybe it can refine this poisonous miasma. After pondering for a moment, Lu Chuanjun decided to give it a try. If it worked, he would not only resolve the current crisis but also gain several more methods. Immediately, Lu Chuanjun glanced in the direction of the tall man and continued to move forward, found a large rock to sit down next to, released the 6-winged golden silkworm to protect him, and then sat cross-legged, operating the yin-yang 5 elements Kuanping technique. Whoosh! A small fish flowing with the yin-yang 5 elements was seen leisurely swimming within his qi ocean core. Swallowing heaven method. Lu Chuanjun activated the secret technique of the Kuanping devouring heaven demonic technique, and his muscles slowly showed tadpole-like dark runes, mysterious and terrifying. In this process, his yin-yang 5 elements flowing small fish gradually transformed into a blood-red dazzling fish, seemingly ready to soar into the skies at any moment, turning into Kuanping and devouring the heavens and earth. It is unclear how long it took, but black runes flowed through Lu Quanzhen's body, his 84,000 pores opening like black holes emitting an intimidating aura. Sarch * the novel Fire. NT website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. Roar! The blood-colored fish roared, morphing into a ferocious and terrifying Kuanping behind Lu Chuanjun, as if a deep abyssal beast ready to devour other souls. The poison that seeped into Lu Quanzhen's body was instantly like boiling water, refined by a domineering power into rolling spiritual energy. Hiss, this secret technique, so domineering. After some time, Lu Chuanjun abruptly opened his eyes, his expression both excited and shocked. Excited, indeed, as he guessed, he could devour and refine the poisonous miasma. Shocked at how domineering this secret technique was. He had not yet cultivated the Kuanping devouring heaven demonic technique, relying solely on the operation of yin-yang 5 elements Kuanping technique, had such astonishing effects. If he were to master Kuanping devouring heaven demonic technique, How amazing would the effect be? Why does uncle have such a domineering demonic technique? Lu Chuanjun murmured to himself, very surprised. Having been in the Jin Kingdom for so many years, he had encountered many demonic techniques used as shortcuts in practice. But compared to his own technique, there was a world of difference. Although I can refine the poisonous miasma with Kuanping devouring heaven demonic technique, it is still very difficult to break out from here. Lu Chuanjun thought to himself, aware that his crisis was still far from resolved. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1229. This swampy mountain range is extremely dangerous. Ordinary cultivators dare not enter. There might just be some fortuitous opportunity, heavenly and earthly treasures. Since I am not afraid of the miasma, I can fully explore here. Perhaps I might find some opportunity, and find another exit. Lu Chuanjun examined his surroundings. In his heart, he had another option. That was, to directly cultivate the Kuanping swallows the heavens demonic technique. As long as he cultivated this technique, he could swiftly increase his strength by devouring fierce beasts or the group of people outside, thereby solving the crisis. However, considering his uncle's admonishments, worried about the other side effects after cultivating this technique, he temporarily gave up this idea. Otherwise, in his eyes, this was a very good choice. As for the cultivation technique being contrary to heaven and full of the demon path, Lu Chuanjun felt all right about it, without any particular emotions. He believed in his own heart, confident that he would not lose himself to this power and that he could control it. The heart! Lu Chuanjun let out a low chuckle, looking at the six-winged golden silkworm next to him emitting a fierce and bloodthirsty aura. His palm lightly raised, placing it into his sleeve. Then he glanced towards the direction of the tall man and others, his eyes narrowing, and strode towards the deeper parts of the swamp. Blue Lake Mountain. Lu Family Mansion. Inside here is a Foundation Establishment elixir, Divine Sense Foundation Establishment spiritual objects. Lu Chongxing said as he looked at his children. Son Lu Yunlu and daughter Lu Xingyue had finally finished their marketplace tasks and returned to Blue Lake Mountain. For these two children, Lu Chongxing did not take them to attempt a breakthrough at Mount Sumeru Cave Heaven. Instead, he prepared Foundation Establishment elixirs, Foundation Establishment spiritual objects, and elixir medicines that nourish their foundations for them, so they could go back to Qingyun's sect and attempt Foundation Establishment. This, Lu Yunlu and Lu Xingyue, seeing the elixir medicines and Foundation Establishment spiritual objects handed out by their father, both appeared dazed. Even though over the years, they had always heard about family matters and knew that their own family had channels for Foundation Establishment elixirs. But they had not expected that their father would actually give each of them a Foundation Establishment elixir. It has to be known, even the children of great families or disciples of immortal sects won't possibly have a Foundation Establishment elixir each. They have to rely on their own efforts to compete for it. Child thanks father. Lu Yunlu took a deep breath, bowing with hands clasped together. He knew that, without the support of the family relying on himself, he could at most exchange for a meridian-protecting elixir and 1 or 2 Foundation Establishment spiritual objects before the age of 60, in order to attempt Foundation Establishment. With his 6th grade spiritual root, the likelihood of Foundation Establishment was very low. If he accepted this gift, then he would have a not small chance of breaking through to become a foundation-building great cultivator. Daughter also thanks father. Lu Xingyue, seeing this, hesitated for a moment, and also accepted the gift. During this return, spend more time with your mother. They all miss you very much. Lu Chongxing said with a gentle face. These children often came home in the early years, but as time passed, the frequency of their returns gradually decreased. This journey to receive the sex mission was even a few years without coming home. Yes, father. The two of them replied respectfully and then left the hall. Looking at the familiar scenery of Blue Lake Mountain before them, both of them still appeared somewhat dazed, as if in a dream. They didn't expect that the Foundation Establishment elixir they had longed for so much would be obtained so easily. Yunlu brother, I offer my early congratulations for your hopeful Foundation Establishment. Lu Xingyue said to Lu Yunlu. Although the two siblings are not from the same mother, they joined the Qingyun sect together, and their relationship is still very good. She knew that this brother, although of a solitary disposition, had a much stronger conviction in foundation establishment and seeking the Tao than herself. These years, most of his time was spent earning spirit stones, all in order to exchange for more foundation establishment spiritual objects when the time came, thereby attempting foundation establishment. I believe Xing Yue you can also break through foundation establishment. Lu Yunlu took a deep breath and nodded. Without delay, the two of them went to pay respects to their own mother, to visit the younger brothers and sisters at home. Sigh. Lu Chongxing watched the backs of these two children as they left, heaving a slight sigh. With the two regularly cultivating in the Qing Yun sect, they inevitably become a bit estranged from home. Just like when son Lu Qingshan came home, apart from a few individuals, there isn't much closeness with most of the brothers and sisters. At this moment, he couldn't help thinking of his daughter in Jin Kingdom, whom he had never met. She grew up under the care of the Five Poisons cult in Nangong merely since childhood, and even if she were brought back by him, it might be difficult for her to integrate into the family. But in the end I have to see her. Lu Chongxing sighed in his heart, returned to Mount Sumeru Cave Heaven, and continued to watch Bai Ling, who had transformed into a white golden cocoon, wondering how long it would take her to break out of it. I also wonder how Zi Xiao and Pingon are doing. At this time, Lu Chongxing thought about the family's commercial affairs. Counting the time, it had been over 3 months since Lu Pingon and the others had set out. Merely auctioning a foundation establishment elixir in Red Leaf Valley Market had caused such a big stir. The establishment of a commercial guild would surely make some powers restless, secretly taking action to obstruct. Unless a core formation old ancestor takes action, I think there shouldn't be big problems. Lu Chongxing shook his head lightly, feeling somewhat missing his daughter Lu Lingyi. At this very moment, Ling Zixiao was inspecting the situation in a marketplace with her son Lu Lingxiao, Lu Lingyi, and Lu Rui, preparing to buy some shops. After being busy for a while, they went to a restaurant to eat. I heard that some time ago, a foundation establishment elixir was auctioned off in Red Leaf Valley Market, attracting 5 robber cultivators to make a move. These 5 robber cultivators weren't after the foundation establishment elixir. They were targeting Blue Lake Mountain Lu family. I happened to be in Red Leaf Valley Market at that time. Blue Lake Mountain is really something. Back then, just after Lu Changsheng's foundation establishment, he alone killed 3 foundation establishment cultivators and established Blue Lake Mountain Lu family. Now, one of his daughters even killed 5 foundation establishment cultivators. Humph, it's all because of the talismans. If I had a good dad who could randomly burn a few hundred talismans, I would also have this kind of combat power. If I were the son of a nascent soul true lord, wouldn't I be even more successful? To tell the truth, I suspect that Blue Lake Mountain now probably has 10 foundation establishment great cultivators. Regardless of whether it's true or not, Blue Lake Mountain Lu family is now considered the first cultivation family among the 6 big false core families. In the main hall, many cultivators were chatting and boasting while dining. Many of them were discussing the affairs of Blue Lake Mountain and Red Leaf Valley Market. After all, this incident is considered a rare big news in Qingyun region and naturally spread widely. Talisman Fairy Lu Wangshu killed 5 foundation establishment cultivators by herself? Lu Lingxiao was stunned when he heard this, his expression one of shocked disbelief. He was even planning to return home to challenge this sister after the business trip. To his surprise, he heard news about this sister here. Killing 5 robber cultivators by oneself? Wasn't that astonishing? Even though he was confident in his invincibility among his peers and vastly stronger than ordinary foundation establishment cultivators, he was still shocked by this news. Wow, sister is so incredible. Lu Lingyi next to him heard this and her little mouth was slightly agape, her face full of excited surprise. She then looked towards her brother Lu Lingxiao and said, "Brother, are you still planning to challenge sister when you get back? Maybe just forget about it." Wang Shu killed 5 robber cultivators. Lu Rui was also somewhat dumbfounded. In her opinion, being invincible among her peers was already quite impressive. As for fighting 1 against 5 and killing them all, even she, as a foundation establishment cultivator, found it hard to imagine such a scene at the moment. "Shower, what's wrong? Were you hit hard?" Ling Zixiao, dressed in a lake blue palace dress with her hair neatly arranged, looked dignified and elegant, and said to her son with a gentle smile. Perhaps having witnessed Lu Changsheng's prowess, she wasn't too surprised by such a record. However, seeing her son like this, as a mother, she naturally needed to offer some comfort. "No, I'm just a little surprised." Lu Lingxiao shook his head slightly. His face angular and well-defined, with features somewhat resembling his mother Ling Zixiao. Especially his eyes, even though his gold pupils were hidden, were still bright and full of expression, piercing like torches. Sir the Novel Fire, any *T website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. Ling Zixiao knew her son had always been tough and said with a light laugh, "Wang Shu, as a talisman cultivator, if equipped with enough talismans and forming a talisman formation with them, indeed, she would have no equal among her peers, and could easily overcome higher levels. But a talisman formation is not invincible, either." In her early years, because of the dragon roar physique, which prevented her from cultivating, she spent a lot of time on talisman formations and understood them deeply. She knew that talisman formations were not truly invincible. Like most formations, they had weak points. If during a duel, one could find these weak points and break the talisman formation, then by using close combat and other tactics, one could prevent the talisman cultivator from executing further moves. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1230, The Great Tao is 50. Nature yields 49 and withholds 1. Talisman formations and many other formation techniques share similar principles. Ling Zixiao slowly spoke, instructing his son. His son, Lu Lingxiao, had a talent for the formation path. Although he hadn't spent too much time on it, he had an early start. Furthermore, with his eyes and exceptional pupil skill, as long as he could discern the weak points of a talisman formation during combat and utilize the destructive power of the devastation flame to break through the talisman formation, he stood a chance against Lu Wangshu. But sister has many puppets, and once close, it's likely to be besieged by the puppets. Moreover, sister is very strong. Last time I went to see her, she punched through the back mountain with a single fist. At this moment, Lu Lingyi, who was beside him, spoke up. She was very close to Lu Wangshu and knew many of her sister's methods. Therefore, she always advised her brother not to challenge their sister anymore. Ling Zixiao was at a loss for words upon hearing this. He thought to himself that Lu Wangshu, being the beloved daughter of his husband, indeed could not be judged by common standards. Knowing the disadvantages of a talisman cultivator, surely his husband was very much aware of them. It's possible that he had already compensated for his daughter's weaknesses. With this in mind, Ling Zixiao looked at his son with a sense of resentment for his stubbornness and excessive pride. "Don't you know that a crying child gets the candy? Your father has always preferred a gentle approach over a forceful one. That's the strategy he succumbs to." However, the son did inherit this temperament from his mother, and she didn't have much to say but simply consoled, "It's okay, Shower. It's good to exchange pointers with your sister Wang Shu on normal days. However, after the sparring, if there is anything unclear, you should ask your father for advice." Although it's likely that the son is no match for Lu Wang Shu, but on the path of cultivation, having such a talented sister to compete against can serve as motivation, and that in itself is a good thing for the son. Besides, their father probably wouldn't be so biased to always watch his son being bullied by his daughter, right? "Brother, sister is really nice, you just need to compliment her a few times." Lu Lingyi spoke up for her sister from the side. "Your brother and sister are just pushing each other forward and motivating each other, not truly having a feud," Ling Zixiao said warmly as she rubbed her daughter's head. This daughter was carefree and cheerful, adored by everyone in Blue Lake Mountain. Although Lu Wangshu often teased Lu Lingyi, she did take good care of her younger sister daily. Otherwise, Lu Lingyi wouldn't get along so well with Lu Wangshu. "Oh." Lu Lingyi nodded her little head, half understanding. After the meal, Ling Zixiao inquired about shops in the marketplace that sold information to learn more about the Red Leaf Valley market. It seems that this journey is going to be more troublesome. Ling Zixiao looked at the information and let out a faint smile on her elegant face. Then she gave a few instructions to her children and Lu Rui before leaving the marketplace. The trade convoy had not entered the marketplace and stayed outside. Lu Pingon was guarding here. "Aunt, Rui, Ling Xiao, Xiaohe." Lu Pingon called out immediately when he saw Ling Zixiao and the others. "Big Pot, I brought you something delicious." Lu Lingyi, very close to her eldest brother Lu Pingon, cheerfully handed him the packed meal box. "Thank you, Xiaohe." Lu Pingon responded with a smile. Pingon, I heard some news in the marketplace. Ling Zixiao stepped forward and shared the news from the Red Leaf Valley Market and some anticipated situations. She indicated that there might be false core level forces directly intervening soon, so they had to be extra vigilant. And I understand. After a slight surprise at the combat power of Lu Wangshu, Lu Pingon nodded seriously. The convoy then set off, with Lu Lingyi cozily chatting and eating with her big brother. Big Pot, let me tell you, this is super delicious, so I ordered 2. Big brother can't finish so much, I'll share some with you. Oh, I'm already full. Okay, I'll just eat a little bit, just a tiny bit. SAR the Novel Fire. Net ** website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. After leaving the marketplace, the convoy headed towards a small Qi refinement family. Dealing with a small family might not earn many spirit stones, but business is about accumulating small gains. Moreover, trading with such small families can lead to partnerships or earn profit by hitching rides or taking advantage of opportunities along the way. This day, as the convoy passed through a forest path, they saw 3 figures standing ahead, blocking their way with drawn swords and horses. May I ask if this is the Blue Lake Mountain Lu family of the Evergreen Commerce Association? The person in the middle spoke. He was in his 30s, with a heroic face, sword-like eyebrows extending into his temples, and his voice full of vigor. Lu Pingon stepped out of the carriage, exchanged a glance with his sister Lu Rui, and addressed the man seriously. I am Lu Pingon of Blue Lake Mountain. May I inquire the identity of your esteemed self? Lingxi Lake, Xie family, Xie Ying. The man with sword-like eyebrows declared loudly. Lingxi Lake? One of the 6 false core families of the Qingyun region. Lingxi Xie family. Xie Ying, the 5th elder of the Xie family. Xie Ying? Hearing this, both Lu Pingon and Lu Rui's expressions became slightly tense. The other members of the convoy, upon hearing Lingxi Lake, also expressed their surprise and some panic, not expecting to encounter a false core family blocking their way. The name of Blue Lake Mountain Lu family is well known to us at Lingxi Lake. However, there's an unwritten rule between our families that to establish a commerce association, one must measure their strength. Therefore, today Xie is here on behalf of our family to witness the divine skills of our Taoist friend. If Taoist friend's strength is extraordinary, not only will my Lingxi Xie family support the establishment of your commerce association, we will also apologize for our impoliteness today. If Taoist friend does not possess the strength, it might be best to retreat now. After all, there are other powers behind that may block the way or even set an ambush and act insidiously. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1231. Xie Ying sized up Lu Pingon before him and said aloud, originally, the Xie family did not wish to interfere with the affairs of the Lu Family Commerce Association. But upon hearing about the incident at Red Leaf Valley Market, they realized that By Lake Mountain was not to be underestimated. Therefore, they came to test the strength of By Lake Mountain. If, besides the couple comparable to false core immortals, Lu Chongxing, and Lu Wangshu, comparable to the peak of Foundation establishment, there were other top-tier combatants, then By Lake Mountain possessed the strength of a false core level force. In such a case, since their Lingxi Lake was far from By Lake Mountain, there was no need to create enmities but rather they could cooperate deeply. I wonder how Taoist Xie wishes to be enlightened? Lu Pingon, with his tall and majestic stature, took a step forward and replied. The direct approach of the other party showed their intentions, which he did not resist. After all, open attacks are easy to dodge, but hidden ones hard to guard against. Compared to openly honest combat, it's much better than those who strike from the shadows. I heard that this trade convoy is led by Taoist Lu and the noble lady of the Lu family, right? No need for others, as long as you all can overcome 3 of us, that is sufficient, said Xie Ying aloud. He had already thoroughly investigated the strength of Lu Pingon. At the initial stage of Foundation establishment, but due to his second-order body refining, his combat power was among the top of the mid-stage of Foundation establishment. With the aid of a spiritual artifact, he could even be comparable to some in the late Foundation establishment. As for the strength of Ling Zixiao, he was not sure, but with the incident at the Red Leaf Valley Market, the Xie family believed that Lu Chongxing dared to send 2 people to lead this first trade trip, suspecting that they were not as simple as they appeared. My aunt dislikes fighting, so it will be I. Lu Pingon spoke out, intending to express his willingness to fight 3 against 1. However, Lu Rui immediately interjects. Big brother. Let my brother and I experience Daoist Xie's expertise. Saw the novel Fire. Net website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. Lu Pingon, knowing his sister was also here for experience, quickly changed his words. Of course, Xiang glanced at Lu Rui, smiled and nodded. He had just noticed Lu Rui. He did not remember any foundation establishment cultivator like her mentioned in the information about by Lake Mountain. 3 foundation establishment cultivators. No wonder they are so confident. It seems that by Lake Mountain has hidden quite a few foundation establishment cultivators over the years and now unable to sustain. Hence the urgency in establishing a commerce association and auctioning foundation establishment elixirs, thought Xiang internally. At that moment, siblings Lu Lingxiao and Lu Lingyi stepped out of the carriage, observing the situation ahead. Were it not for his mother speaking up, Lu Lingxiao would have liked to fight. Big pot, Sister Rui, good luck. Lu Lingyi, clad in a red martial outfit and standing on windfire wheels, cheered, helping to lighten the somewhat tense atmosphere. Okay, Lu Pingon smiled at Lu Lingyi, then sent a sound transmission to Lu Lingxiao. Lingxiao, watch over things here. Although they were openly and squarely facing each other, who knows if any tricks might be played, so it was better to be a bit cautious. Don't worry, big brother, Lu Lingxiao nodded. Ling Zixiao remained elegantly dignified sitting in the carriage, quietly observing the outside situation. She did not plan to get involved in the fight this time. Partly because her cultivation level wasn't high, only at the 4th layer of foundation establishment. Furthermore, her cultivation technique, 12 capital demon divine technique, would require killing to silence if she exerted full effort. Of course, it was also because Lu Chongqing had told her about Lu Pingan's combat ability, and there was no need for her involvement. A moment later, Lu Pingan's black dragon power circulated, and his tall and imposing body suited up in a glinting silver armor, with a pitch-black black dragon halberd appearing in his hands. Beside him, Lu Rui's tall body also donned a golden armor, shining brilliantly with flowing radiance, as she wielded a golden small sword. Brother, Dad said that when you come home, you will have similar armor, and you would look really good in it, Lu Lingyi eagerly said to Lu Lingxiao as she admired Lu Pingon and Lu Rui's armor. She really liked this type of armor, but Dad said she didn't need it yet and could not use it until her cultivation level was higher. Only then would they forge one tailored for her. Yes, Lu Lingxiao nodded slightly. He wasn't particularly looking forward to such armor, but was rather more eager for the attack spiritual artifacts father mentioned. Daoist Xie, please, Lu Pingon called out to the 3 individuals. His silver armor-clad body holding a black dragon halberd, stature as upright as a mountain, exuding a heroic and imposing aura. Daoist Lu, please, Xiang eyed the impressive Lu Pingon. His eyes narrowing slightly before he glanced at the 2 beside him. All brandished their magic artifacts and soared into the sky. Roar! As Xiang performed a gesture incantation, a surge of misty vapor rapidly filled the air, forming a fierce flood dragon hurtling towards Lu Pingon. One of his companions, wielding a small drum, created successive water thunderbolts with each strike, which headed toward the pair. During flight, these water thunderbolts slowly merged with the vapor flood dragon, enhancing its might incrementally. The 2 were cultivating similar techniques. Therefore, their combined attack was more powerful than ordinary. The last person drove a blue flying sword towards them. Rui, take the rear and handle the formation. Lu Pingon faced such an offensive, his robust figure stepping forward. Boom! His formidable demon beast-like powerful aura enveloped the area, making the air itself seem heavier. His black dragon halberd instantly unleashed a dazzling light and swung forward. Although externally he was a middle-stage second-order body refiner, for this trade mission, clearly he could no longer afford to hide his true abilities. Father had also instructed that there was no need to be overly modest. Therefore, Lu Pingan's strike utilized the 7th layer of body refinement. As for the 8th layer, the quasi-3rd-tier body refining, which was too shockingly extraordinary, he still knew restraint. Boom! The slash of the black dragon halberd seemed to split heaven and earth, directly cleaving the vapor-steamed flood dragon in 2. Immediately after, the great halberd, wrapped in a force of wind and thunder, horizontally slashed, crushing the approaching water thunderbolts and flying sword. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc. Please let us know report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1232. Such physical prowess? Xie Ying's eyelids twitched violently at the sight of the explosive physical strength that Lu Pingon displayed. He immediately gestured an incantation, causing the shattered vapors to steam up and gather like a silver dragon waterfall, aiming to entangle Lu Pingan's black dragon halberd. Buzz! Lu Pingon tightly grasped the black dragon halberd and abruptly twisted it, making the great halberd tremble wildly, sounding like metal clashing, scattering the silver dragon. Subsequently, the chi blood in his body burst forth like a breached river, an angry dragon emerging from the abyss, casting a faint golden treasure light under the silver armor over his strong muscles. Thump thump thump, wind and thunder raged around Lu Pingon, with upsurging chi blood above his head like beacon smoke reaching for the clouds, charging towards Xie Ying and the other two like a horde of thousands of horses and soldiers. This! Lu Rui, witnessing this scene and wielding her flying sword, appeared somewhat dazed. Where am I, and what am I supposed to do? Big Brother has broken through the attacks of 3 people by himself. How can I plunder their formation? It would be more like Big Brother plundering for me. But Big Brother is also too impressive. Wow, Big Brother is so awesome. Lu Lingyi clapped excitedly as she watched Lu Pingon in action. It's just a bit strange. Why doesn't Big Brother use his fists and simply punch directly through them? Is this the power of the 8th level 100 refinements treasure body art? I wonder if Sister Wang Shu's talismans can break through Big Brother's physical body. Lu Lingxiao stared at the majestic silhouette of his big brother, his pupils reflecting a hint of gold as he pondered. Big Brother is so powerful. Hiss, this must be 2nd-tier top-level body refinement, right? Uncle Pingan's strength. The other disciples from Blue Lake Mountain Lu family and Qingzhou Mountain Lu family were also shocked by the scene, followed by surges of excited delight in their hearts. Knowing that Lu Pingon was there to support them, the business trip was essentially secure. Blue Lake Mountain Lu family, quite a formidable Blue Lake Mountain Lu family. No wonder they dared to establish a merchant association at this time. Xie Ying's expression changed slightly as he saw the overwhelming momentum of Lu Pingon, filled with serious solemnity. He gestured an incantation, and his life-bound spiritual artifact, Han Tan Pearl, flew out, radiating with frosty rosy light. This cold energy combined with the vapors from his hand incantation to spiral and form ice-cold flood dragons charging towards Lu Pingon. Boom boom boom! Lu Pingan's expression remained calm as he swung the black dragon halberd. Each strike was as heavy as a mountain, as though collapsing the void, shattering the ice-cold flood dragons into a sky full of ice and vapor. Seeing the domineering Lu Pingon, godlike and demon-like, bearing down upon him, Xie Ying immediately spoke out, "Daoist Lu, I concede." He had realized that it would not be easy for the 3 of them to defeat Lu Pingon unless they fought with all their might. But as there was no enmity between the 2 families, there was no need to go to war over such a trivial matter. Furthermore, his objective for this trip was to gauge the strength of Blue Lake Mountain. Now, Lu Pingon had proven with his strength that Blue Lake Mountain was as formidable as a false core family. Apart from Lu Chongqing and his wife Lu Miaoga, who were on par with false core immortals, there were also genuine body-refining cultivators like Lu Pingon with the combatability of the Foundation establishment late stage. Not like Lu Wangshu, who relied on talismans and external items as a Foundation establishment cultivator. Moreover, considering Blue Lake Mountain probably had about 10 Foundation establishment individuals, it was not to be looked down upon and was worthy of acknowledgement from the Xie family. Daoist Xie, I am honored. Seeing this, Lu Pingon revealed a gentle smile on his upright martial face. Daoist Lu, I apologize for the offense today. This is a small token of my Xie family sincerity. Please accept it. Xie Ying took out several brocade boxes from his storage bag and handed them to Lu Pingon as he spoke. Daoist Xie is being too courteous. Lu Pingon knew that accepting the gift would mean leaving the past grievances behind, so he reached out to take the gift box. Lu Daoist, if the nobility has any business cooperation needs, feel free to visit the Xie family at Lingxi Lake at any time. This is the token of Lingxi Lake. Your people can come to Lingxi Lake with it. Xie Ying continued, offering a token. All right, thank you Daoist Xie. Sir, the Novel Fire. Net website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. Lu Pingon nodded, accepted the token, and glanced at it. One side bore the word Lingxi, and on the other, the character for Xia. I heard that Lu Daoist has not yet established a household? All the women of the Xie clan are graceful and dignified, virtuous and well-mannered. If Lu Daoist is interested, I can make the arrangements. Xiaoying looked at Lu Pingon in front of him and suddenly spoke. He had seen some basic information about Blue Lake Mountain before. He remembered that this firstborn son of the Lu family was not old, seemingly only in his 60s. At that age, being in the initial stage of foundation establishment is rather ordinary. However, being in the late second rank of body refinement at that age is quite astonishing. One must know, body refinement is even more difficult than chi refinement and takes a lot of time and effort. Lu Pingon before him possesses such body refinement strength, surely due to some great fortune. Perhaps it's possible that in the future, he could break through to false core, leveraging his body refinement prowess. If our two families could arrange a marriage early on, it would be a great boon for my Xie family. I, Lu someone, am currently devoted to cultivation and have not yet considered marriage. Lu Pingan's face twitched slightly, not expecting such a swift change of topic from Xiaoying in front of him. Alright then, if Lu Daoist ever finds the time, feel free to visit the Xie family. Our family should interact more. Xiaoying looked somewhat regretful but remained extremely polite. He hinted that there might be other family forces targeting Blue Lake Mountain Lu family, and Lu Pingon should be cautious. He even subtly suggested that the incident at Red Leaf Valley Market might be related to the Sima family. After chatting for a while, Xiaoying went forward to make polite conversation with Lu Rui, greeted Ling Zixiao, and then took his leave. Blue Lake Mountain Lu family. The eldest son, Lu Pingon. This couple from Blue Lake Mountain Lu family are comparable to true pill masters, and even Lu Changsheng's talisman formation could threaten and even suppress an average true pill master. Now there's also Lu Pingon, with such formidable body refinement combat power. The rise of Blue Lake Mountain is becoming unstoppable. Standing on the spirit boat, Xiaoying was filled with emotion, and the more he thought about it, the more he felt that there was something extraordinary about Blue Lake Mountain. He even suspected that there might be more to Lu Changsheng and Lu Miaoge than meets the eye. After all, Lu Changsheng's daughter, Lu Wangshu, relying on the heritage of the talisman path, wields such astonishing combat power. It might be true, as the early rumor suggested, that Lu Changsheng could threaten and even kill true pill masters with talisman formations. Don't spread word of this matter. At this moment, Xiaoying looked towards his nephew and the visiting noble servant, speaking out. While he wished to maintain friendly ties with Blue Lake Mountain and hoped for cooperation between their families, he also would not mind seeing Blue Lake Mountain clash with the other major powers, especially with the Sima and Yuan families. As old false core families, they have always acted aggressively and do not wish to see new false core families emerge. Having suffered a setback at Red Leaf Valley Market, they are likely to take ruthless measures this time. If Blue Lake Mountain clashes with these two families and a fierce battle ensues, the Xie family could also benefit from it. I didn't use my full strength just now, and it's likely that Lu Pingon didn't either. Moreover, the lady of the Lu family has not made a move since the year Lu Chongqing seized by Lake Mountain from the Yu family, yet she came to oversee the caravan this time. Definitely not a simple matter. Xiaoying secretly mused, even looking forward to the encounters of the Lu family caravan with the other forces. If both sides lash out and fight fiercely, causing flares of anger, that would be interesting indeed. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1233. After Xiaoying and others left, Lu Rui stared at her older brother in a daze and said, "Big brother, your strength." She had been stationed at Flower Fruit Mountain in her early years, often seeking advice from Lu Pingon, and the two had sparred together many times, knowing that her brother's strength was extraordinary. But she never imagined that her own brother's strength would be so astonishing. She had previously seen some information about the 6 major false core families and knew that the recent Xiaoying had the strength of the 7th or 8th level of foundation establishment. Even if it was just a probe and he didn't go all out, the fact that her brother gained the upper hand in just a moment also showed that her brother had the strength of the late foundation establishment, or even the peak of foundation establishment. Doesn't this mean that big brother's strength has surpassed that of father? That's not right. Wang Shu is that powerful, and father, when using the talisman formation, might actually be able to suppress a false core immortal, just like the rumors say. I made a little breakthrough in body refinement a while ago, Lu Pingon said with a slight smile, not giving too much explanation. After speaking, he added, "Such battles are unpredictable. It's best to end the fight quickly. Later, if we encounter an ordinary Foundation establishment cultivator, Big Brother will clear the way for you." Rui understands. Lu Rui nodded in acknowledgement, knowing she would have had difficulty intervening in the just fight, and might even have held her brother back. Big Pot, why didn't you use the mountain-shaking fist?" Lu Lingyi, riding on the windfire wheels, came to her big brother's side and asked curiously. She had always followed Lu Pingon in practicing boxing, and had been looking forward to seeing this set of boxing techniques in real combat. "Xiaohe wants to see the boxing technique. Next time Big Brother will use it," Lu Pingon said with a smile as he put away the black dragon halberd. Then he came to a luxurious carriage, handing over the token given by the Xie family to Ling Zixiao. "Ling Xie family, good. As for the matter with the Xie family, I will write back later and have the family handle it." Ling Zixiao took the token, looked at it for a few moments with a light smile, graceful and dignified. Then she turned to her son Lu Lingxiao and instructed, "Xiaoer, you two have cultivated the 100 Refinements treasure body art. If you have any doubts about body refinement, you can ask your big brother for more advice." Although she knew of Lu Pingan's strength, she had never witnessed it before. Even after the engagement, she was still somewhat surprised. Pingon has been cultivating so far, it has only been about 40 years, right? Ling Zixiao still remembered that when Lu Pingon was young, he did not manifest a spiritual root, and when he first returned to Qingzhou Mountain, Lu Chongxing even asked her to instruct him in cultivating the purple true solar scripture. Unknowingly, the other had grown to such an extent, which was quite astonishing. "Mother, your child understands." Lu Lingxiao nodded seriously. He was aware that while he possessed a strong physical body from his body refinement practice, he lacked the means to utilize his strength properly. When it came to cultivation issues, Lu Pingon never held back advice, voicing guidance to his brothers and sisters. In addition to guiding Lu Rui and Lu Lingxiao, Lu Pingon also often cared for other brothers and sisters from Qingzhou Mountain, as well as Lu family disciples without a spiritual root. Once the trade caravan arrives at its current destination, it stops outside the entrance of the other party's mountain gate to conduct trade. Besides selling goods, the caravan also inquires if there's anything the other party wishes to sell, engaging in purchases. It's quite easy to pick up bargains during this process. Picking up a bargain doesn't mean one must find something exceedingly precious. Even things worth a few dozen or 100 spirit stones that are treated like junk and bought for just a few spirit stones count as a bargain. Originally, the Commerce Association would also make spirit stones by offering rides along the way. But this time, the Lu family caravan is mainly aiming to establish reputation and open up trade routes, not purely for profit, hence they didn't take any passengers. On the journey, besides demon beasts, they occasionally face bandits and mountain hijackers occupying the hills. In such cases, usually a bribe of some spirit stones as a toll is enough. If there is a Foundation establishment cultivator presiding, merely leaking out the Foundation establishment's spiritual pressure can resolve the situation. As for killing, that's not usually done. Doing business is all about making money amicably. Moreover, many of these bandits are actions of the small family forces nearby. If every one of these bandits were to be killed, it would be an endless task and only bring trouble to one's own family. Sir the Defied. Website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. 7 days later, the trade caravan encountered another attack. This time there were 3 Foundation establishment cultivators, 1 at the late stage of Foundation establishment, and 2 at the initial stages. Unlike the previous encounter with the Ling Xie family, these enemies didn't bother with idle talk and struck to kill immediately. If not for Lu Pingan's vigilance, even Lu family disciples might have been in trouble. Faced with this situation, Lu Pingan didn't bother with pleasantries, directly confronting the attack. Lu Rui and Lu Lingxiao also took action without delay, each facing off against a cultivator at the initial stage of Foundation establishment. This commercial expedition was for Lu Lingxiao to gain experience and improve. Encountering action, he naturally took part. The Lu Family Commerce Association actually has 4 Foundation establishment cultivators, but where is the lady of the Lu family? The elder at the late stage of Foundation establishment was shocked. He hadn't expected that not long after the event at Red Leaf Valley Market and the emergence of a Foundation establishment stage Lu Wangshu from by Lake Mountain, now 2 unknown Foundation establishment cultivators appeared. But what shocked him the most was Lu Pingan's combat ability. Seeing that the rumors weren't true, he immediately wanted to flee and report this information back to his clan. But Lu Pingon wouldn't let him go so easily, entangling him in the fight. Meanwhile, Lu Rui and Lu Lingxiao were each engaged with a Foundation Establishment cultivator, constantly exchanging blows. Both these Foundation Establishment cultivators were not simple, possessing the cultivation of the third level of Foundation Establishment, belonging to veteran fighters with rich experience in combat techniques. Lu Lingxiao, who had just broken through to Foundation Establishment not long ago, barely managed to learn the Foundation Establishment spells and lacked a suitable spiritual artifact, relying solely on his foundational mana, Devastation Flame, and second-order body refining to match his opponent evenly. However, his powerful pupil skill was amazing, his eyes gleaming with golden light, continuously discerning the opponent's weaknesses and seeking opportunities, gradually gaining the upper hand. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1234. As for Lu Rui, she had no advantage. Even as the combat between both sides progressed, she gradually fell into a disadvantage, barely hanging on with the aid of a spiritual artifact. We can't keep this up, let's go! After exchanging a few rounds of battle with Lu Pingon, this late-stage Foundation Establishment elder gave up on the other two and activated a talisman, preparing to escape alone. Trying to leave? Seeing this, Lu Pingon said to his sister, who was riding windfire wheels in the distance, Xiaohe, watch carefully. Earthshake. Lu Pingon clenched his fist, and complex patterns spread across his robust physique like chains, resembling dragons and snakes moving about, bringing boundless mighty force. The endless surge of chi blood erupted like a volcanic explosion, making the air heavy, as if a mountain had fallen, pressing down on the old man in front, causing his entire body to sink sharply. The vertebrae moved like rising dragons, throwing out a fist that gathered infinite force. Bang bang bang, the massive sound waves and fist force burst the air layer by layer, then struck the old man trying to flee. The terrible force instantly shattered the old man's defensive magic artifact, violently blasting his physical body into a mist of blood. Seeing the blood mist before him, Lu Pingon suddenly realized that this scene of battle might seem a bit brutal for his sister. Immediately, with a clench of his hand, as if grasping the air from all directions, he made all the blood mist dissipate. This. The other two initial stage Foundation Establishment cultivators had been observing the situation between the old man and Lu Pingon, thinking about when to retreat. Seeing this, they were instantly frightened out of their wits. What in the world? Their leader had just been killed with a single punch. In a flash, the two felt as if they had fallen into a cold chasm and lost all will to fight. Lu Lingxiao took advantage of this moment, and his devastation flame transformed into a black firebird, fiercely launching it to incinerate the old man before him. Spare my life, esteemed Taoists, spare my life. The man fighting with Lu Rui quickly shouted out loud, begging for mercy, knowing that continuing the fight would only lead to a dead end. Pingon, ask them where they are from? The voice of Ling Zixiao rang in Lu Pingan's mind. Yes, aunt. Upon hearing this, Lu Pingon suppressed the man with a gesture, questioning him for information. Facing such a situation, the man dared not hide anything and divulged all of the information. He revealed that he was merely a loose cultivator named Zhou Datong, who heard about this job opportunity which promised, successful or not, a second-order breaking stage pill afterward, hence he took up the task. The earlier elder likely hailed from Dayuan Mountain Yuan family. One of the 6 major false core families, Dayuan Mountain Yuan family. Loose cultivator. Upon hearing this, Lu Pingon, Lu Rui, and the others immediately understood what the Yuan family's intentions were. They deliberately sent 2 loose cultivators to probe, knowing that the elder would abandon them and escape alone should any mishaps occur. Even if the 2 were captured and accused the Yuan family of the deed, such testimonial evidence would hardly be credible. Moreover, the Yuan family didn't believe that Blue Lake Mountain would dare to trouble them. Fellow Taoists, I truly know little about this matter, have no intention of offending nobles. Here is all my wealth, I am willing to offer it as compensation. Zhou Datong pleaded, regretting so much that his guts turned green. If you want to save your life, that's possible. My Lu Family Commerce Association is newly established and short-staffed. As long as you sign a contract and serve as an escort guard for my Blue Lake Mountain for 20 years, you'll be given your freedom afterward. Just then, a graceful and elegant voice sounded. Ling Zixiao, clad in a lake blue skirt, her appearance dignified and gracious, stepped out from the carriage, looking at Zhou Datong with a calm and indifferent expression, giving off an indescribable aura of majesty and nobility. Though Blue Lake Mountain currently has quite a few foundation establishment cultivators. Search * the Novelier. NET website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. Establishing a commerce association still requires manpower. If they paid to invite visiting noble servants, with the current reputation of Blue Lake Mountain, indeed, some could be invited. But the expenses involved in hiring escort guards would be too great, and currently not worthwhile. Since there are foundation establishment cultivators being served up on a platter, Ling Zixiao naturally would not hold back. Escort guard, 20 years. Upon hearing this, Zhou Datong's expression changed slightly. For a foundation establishment cultivator, 20 years is not very long. But the issue is not about the 20 years, but the role of the escort guard. It's known that escort guards escort merchant caravans and goods, traveling outside year-round, which is a dangerous job. Especially now that Blue Lake Mountain Lu family is in the limelight being targeted by many powers, you never know when an accident might occur. You have no choice now, either die or serve Blue Lake Mountain for 20 years. Ling Zixiao's beautiful eyes were bright, like autumn water, as she calmly and indifferently looked at Zhou Datong, exuding an ineffable nobility. I am willing. Zhou Datong knew he had no other choice, and his entire demeanor deflated as he agreed. Right then, Ling Zixiao signed a spiritual contract with him and took out a blood covenant. For a loose cultivator like Zhou Datong, whose cultivation level would hardly progress further, choosing to give up cultivation and paying some price, a second-order spiritual contract would not truly bind him. But a blood covenant is different. This type of blood covenant is extremely tyrannical. If the other party dares to betray and tears the blood covenant, it can directly cause the adversary's Dao foundation to collapse. Besides the blood covenant, Ling Zixiao also planned to go back and have Li Xingrua, her husband, research if there are poison elixirs that could be solved once every 1 or 2 years. Such multiple guarantees would provide more stability. Blood covenant. Zhou Datong looked at the blood covenant before him, his face turning pale. Knowing that once he signed the blood covenant before him, his life would be completely controlled by another. But under the current circumstances, he had no other choice, and ultimately squeezed out essence blood to sign the blood covenant. As long as you serve Blue Lake Mountain well, it is not impossible to grant your freedom ahead of time. If you achieve merits, not to mention a second-order breaking stage pill, even a second-order high-grade breakthrough pill, my Blue Lake Mountain also has them. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1235. Ling Zixiao carefully put away the spiritual contract and the blood covenant before nonchalantly adding a sentence. Then she gracefully returned to the carriage. Zhou Datong, although aware that her words were just pie in the sky, still harbored some hope and began to comfort himself. Thinking that the Blue Lake Mountain Lu family was so extraordinary, apart from Mr. and Mrs. Lu, there was such a top-tier cultivator. If he truly devoted himself, perhaps he could really reap some benefits. Big pot. Next time you should probably not use your fists, you're punching people to death. At this moment, Lu Lingyi said to his big brother, feeling that the punch just now was too fierce. All right. Lu Pingon smiled awkwardly. Lu Rui, who was standing next to them, looked at Lu Lingxiao in silence. It was one thing for the eldest brother to kill a foundation establishment cultivator with a single punch. This younger brother of his, who had only recently broken through to foundation establishment, managed to kill a foundation establishment cultivator without even using a spiritual artifact. And as for herself, as the caravan continued moving forward, Ling Zixiao then instructed her son, Lu Lingxiao, "Shower in the future, you will be in charge of family affairs. You must remember the 4 words, both kindness and might. As for how to bestow kindness and how to exert might, that is something you will have to grasp on your own." Although Zhou Datong signed the blood covenant, he has not yet fully pledged allegiance and lacks loyalty. Along the way, you can try applying both kindness and might to win him over. This might, you can exert it yourself, or through your big brother. Ling Zixiao's eyes gleamed brightly as if she could see through the carriage to Lu Pingon and Zhou Datong. Although her son was not interested in family affairs, in her view, A lack of interest and a lack of understanding were two different concepts. Both kindness and might. CTH Nafire. Et website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. Lu Lingxiao, hearing his mother's words, glanced at Zhou Dong on top of the pack animal, nodded his head, and a memory surfaced in his mind of his mother's demeanor towards Zhou Datong just moments ago. He suddenly realized that he had never seen this side of his mother at home before. Meanwhile, at Great Ape Mountain, family head, bad news, the fourth elder's soul plate has shattered. The Yuan family elder, who was guarding the ancestral hall, came rushing with a look of urgency to report. What? The fourth elder's soul plate is shattered? How is this possible? The Yuan family head's eyes bulged with disbelief upon hearing this news. Their fourth elder possessed the cultivation of the Foundation Establishment's 7th layer, and his combat strength was extraordinary. Even a cultivator at the peak of Foundation Establishment would find it difficult to kill him. This excursion was merely to probe the strength and situation of the Blue Lake Mountain Lu family caravan. How could he have died out there? The Lu family only has 2 Foundation Establishment cultivators. Even if they had some hidden depth, it would only add up to 3 Foundation Establishment cultivators at most. How could they possibly kill the fourth elder? Moreover, the fourth elder had invited 2 Foundation Establishment cultivators to accompany him on this outing. The head of the Yuan family still couldn't believe the news. But once he arrived at the ancestral hall and saw that the fourth elder's soul plate was indeed shattered, he immediately notified the family and then sent people to investigate the matter. 9 days later, the Lu family caravan was moving along the road. From inside the carriage behind a pack beast, Ling Zixio's eyes suddenly opened wide as she looked at a compass in her hand. This formation compass was not meant to set up formations, but to sense them. After all, during the journey of commerce, one could encounter bandits who had arranged formations in advance, setting up an ambush. If one entered a formation set by others, even with a cultivation level 1 rank higher, it was very dangerous and would put one at a disadvantage. Pingon, Rui, Ling Xiao, be on your guard. Ling Zixiao called out to halt the caravan. Hoo! Just then, a strong wind suddenly arose in the forest, howling ominously. Buzz! Suddenly, within the sky dome, a stream of earthy yellow brilliance flowed, and a gigantic Shenhuang, mystic yellow miniature mountain descended swiftly from the air, its might extremely terrifying. Not good. Lu Pingon was the first to react. His chi blood surging turbulently as his tall and burly figure skyrocketed towards the miniature mountain in the air, pushing upwards against it. Woo! In that instant, a protective light screen formed around the beasts of burden and the carriages. Yet, facing this oppressive aura, the beasts of burden all started to whine and cry tragically. Swoosh! The moment Lu Pingon took action, a golden arrow shot towards him furiously, its aura sharp and aggressive. Even though she knew her elder brother's body refinement was astonishing, Lu Rui still activated a second-rank golden light insignia for him without hesitation. Clang! The sound of gold striking metal rang out from his body, as the golden arrow slammed into the golden light insignia with deafening impact, shattering it instantly. Boom! Lu Pingon directly flipped the earthy yellow miniature mountain above his head, and then his palm, as large as a millstone, violently slapped away the arrow that had broken the golden light insignia. Blue Lake Mountain Lu family. What an impressive Blue Lake Mountain Lu family. Truly extraordinary. Eldest son of the Lu family, Lu Pingon, it was rumored that you were at the second-rank middle stage of body refinement. Now it seems that the rumor was not only inaccurate but greatly mistaken. Your body refinement has already reached the second-rank late stage. The Lu family really knows how to keep a low profile. I thought Lu Wangshu was the main pillar of the Lu family, but now it turns out, you, Lu Pingon, are the true main pillar of the Lu family. No wonder Lu Chongqing dared to trust you leading the caravan. At this moment, 4 figures stepped forward, standing side by side. One had a miniature earthy yellow mountain floating above their head, one held a bow and arrow, another wielded a feather fan, and another held a formation compass. They all appeared quite young and had an extraordinary demeanor. Lu Rui, Lu Lingxiao, and Zhou Datong immediately came to Lu Pingan's side, looking at the 4 people before them. 3 Foundation Establishment cultivators? Interesting, more and more interesting. No wonder your Lu family had the confidence to start a trade association and create such a commotion. The young man holding the feather fan paused, and then chuckled aloud. Xuanwu Ridge Sima family, the Sima Sijia, 4 heroes. Lu Rui recognized the identities and backgrounds of the 4 individuals in front of them. Not only did the 4 hail from the Sima family, but they were also siblings born of the same mother. 4 brothers, all born of the same mother, to each possess a spiritual root and have exceptional talent enough to break through to foundation establishment is indeed quite rare in the cultivation world. And all 4 of them had their own fair share of fortunate encounters, each possessing not ordinary strength, having once killed a great cultivator in the late stage of foundation establishment. They were not only famous in the Qingyun region but also had considerable notoriety throughout the Jiang country cultivation realm. Lu Rui did not expect that the Sima family would be so brazen in making a move on their family caravan. Unlike the Xie family who had come previously just for a probe. If the family had enough strength, even offering an apology or discussing cooperation was considered. The Yuan family, though directly murderous, still concealed their identities. But the Sima family in front of them had no disguise at all, openly assassinating their caravan. This was completely disregarding their Lu family, with no concern for face. I heard the Sima family has some relations with the Jin family. Now that our family is involved with the Jin family, it makes sense that the Sima family would take direct action. Lu Rui contemplated and immediately communicated the intel on the Sima Sijia to her elder brother, Lu Lingxiao. She then proceeded to tell Zhou Datong the situation of the 4 individuals as well. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1236. Since you know of our brother's reputation, we'll give you a chance now. Roll back to Blue Lake Mountain immediately. Matters of the trade association are not for the Lu family to meddle in. The youth holding the feather fan spoke coldly, with a swirl of green nether energy whirling around his feather fan. Although the 4 of them were overconfident, a brief exchange just now had shown them that Lu Pingon was no ordinary opponent, and they did not have full confidence in killing him. After all, the Blue Lake Mountain Lu family was famous for their talisman path. No one knew how many talismans the Lu family disciples had on hand, so they were still being somewhat cautious and prudent. Therefore, driving the Lu family back to their patch on Blue Lake Mountain was sufficient for this trip. In their eyes, the Lu family of Blue Lake Mountain had been secretly accumulating strength and nurturing so many foundation establishment cultivators in recent years that they had already exhausted their foundation. As long as the family could no longer support these foundation establishment cultivators, it would not be long before their prosperity turned to decline. The Sima family surely is overbearing. Damn it, if we were to retreat now, the trade association business would be utterly untenable. The Lu family disciples standing beside the caravan, upon hearing this, were all infuriated, feeling that the Sima family was too domineering. Then, they looked toward the towering figure of Lu Pingon. Now, their only hope was that their own elder brother, uncle, could repel the 4 of them. Rui, Ling Xiao, Zhou Daoist, be cautious. Lu Pingon didn't say much. The black dragon halberd appeared in his hand, and his robust and majestic body took large strides forward, charging at the 4 before him. How dare you! Arrogant! Simply seeking death. The Sima Sijia saw Lu Pingon actually facing the 4 of them alone. Their faces turned cold, with a chill expression. In their view, Lu Pingon indeed had extraordinary strength. But for him to face the 4 of them alone was a blatant disregard. They did not take the 4 brothers seriously at all. Buzz! Sima Bo let out a cold hum, and the earthy yellow mini mountain above his head instantly enlarged, spanning like the Xianhuang Mountains between heaven and earth, pressing down on Lu Pingon. Boom! The Xianhuang Mountains made it seem as though the heavens and earth themselves became heavier. An invisible pressure, thread by thread, enveloped the entire area, causing nearby Lu Lingxiao, Lu Rui, and Zhou Datong to feel somewhat unstable. The caravan's beasts of burden, Lu family disciples, and warriors also turned pale under this intangible pressure, their chi blood roiling and found it hard to breathe. Buzz, buzz, buzz. Just at that moment, streams of light burst forth from the cargo boxes of the caravan, converging into an invisible light barrier enveloping the entire caravan. Array Master. Sima Shu, holding the array plate, looked towards one of the carriages, squinting his eyes. The lady of the Lu family from Blue Lake Mountain, Ling Zixiao, is precisely an array master. Third brother, it seems the formation you've arranged has been detected by this lady. Lady Lu hasn't shown up yet. Is there something shameful? Sima Zhong and Sima Ji also looked toward the carriage, seemingly trying to see through it to glimpse Ling Zixiao inside. Pingon. No need to waste time with them. Make it quick. CTH Novel Fire. Net website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. At that moment, an elegant and pleasant voice came from inside the carriage. The voice was very calm, yet it clearly reached everyone's ears. No need to waste time? Quick resolution? Is everyone from your Blue Lake Mountain Lu family this arrogant? Even if Lu Chongqing and Lu Miaoge were here, they would not dare to speak to us brothers like this. The Sima Siji's expressions turned icy, and the eldest Sima Bo, with roiling chi blood like that of a demon beast, spoke with a heavy voice. He was also truly a body cultivator. You are not fit to mention my father, my aunt by name. When Lu Pingon heard this, a cold light flashed in his eyes as well. The four before him were too arrogant. Not only had they tried to lay deadly hands upon Meeting and nearly kill his caravan's disciples, but now they even spoke insultingly of his own father and aunt. His stature was imposing, dressed in silver armor, his eyes swirling with wind and thunder. Each movement was charged with the stirring of wind and thunder, like a thunderous war god. Wind and thunder. Mountain opener. Lu Pingon thrust the black dragon halberd, his right arm lifted with chi blood surging, gathering boundless wind and thunder, forming a colossal axe above his head. Since you ask for death, us four brothers will grant it to you. Sima Ba's burly body shimmered with Xianhuang light, giving off a presence as heavy as a mountain, his actions merging with the Xianhuang mountains that span between heaven and earth. He was indeed extraordinary, his body refinement having already reached the second-rank late stage, and he possessed Foundation Establishment's 6th layer cultivation level. If Lu Pingan's 100 refinements treasure body art had not broken through to the 8th level, he might not be able to suppress him. Facing the four brothers, he would certainly be at a disadvantage. But at this moment, Lu Pingon held nothing back, directly unleashing his quasi-third order physique. Boom! The wind and thunder-wreathed colossal axe collided fiercely with the Xianhuang mountains, immediately unleashing a terrifying might that shook the earth and sky. The explosion of divine power was brutal and violent, as if to obliterate everything in its path, causing the Xianhuang mountains that span the sky dome to constantly tremble, nearly cracking. Not good. Third brother, fourth brother, take action. The feather fan-wielding Sima Zhong's face changed, immediately realizing something was amiss. Their eldest brother's punch was actually inferior to Lu Pingan's. It was being pushed back continuously under Lu Pingan's fist. He did not dare to hesitate. The feather fan in his hand violently fanned out, the green nether wind instantly sweeping towards Lu Pingon. Clang, clang, clang. This green nether wind was a potent wind, striking against Lu Pingan's body like steel blades, resounding with the sound of metal on metal. Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. The bow-wielding Sima Ji pulled the bowstring, and sharp golden arrows shot out, piercing the void, aimed murderously at Lu Pingon with killing intent. Meanwhile, Sima Shu with the compass squinted at the caravan below, offering up a magic pearl, attempting to break through Ling Zixiao's formation. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1237. As an array master, he knew that the merchant convoy's formation was solely supported by spirit stones. Its power was limited and it could not be sustained for long. Since he had taken action, he naturally would not hold back anymore. These four brothers were all exceptionally strong, each with their own strengths. Ordinary peak foundation establishment cultivators would perish at their hands. Big brother. Lu Lingxiao and Lu Rui, witnessing this scene, did not shrink back, although it was difficult for them to be of any help with their strength. In this situation, they could not simply watch their eldest brother being ganged up on by four people. Screech! Lu Lingxiao performed a gesture incantation, and the devastation flame blazed in front of him, transforming into black firebirds that charged toward the golden arrows. Lu Rui then sacrificed her flying sword and attacked Sima Shu, who was holding an array plate. As the opponent was an array master, she had to interfere if she wanted to break the formation. Zhou Datong, seeing this scene, was utterly dumbfounded. He did not expect that just after signing a blood covenant with the Lu family, he would encounter the famous Foundation Establishment cultivators, Sima Sijia. He felt like acting and not acting in the current situation were both wrong. After all, if he took action, he might end up being beaten or killed by Sima Sijia later. But if he didn't take action, his own blood covenant was still in the hands of Ling Zixiao. Damn, what greedy thoughts did I have earlier? Zhou Detong inwardly cursed but still chose to act, sacrificing his own flying sword, which shone brilliantly, and attacked Sima Ji. A few small fries also dare to interfere. Sima Zhong looked at the three coldly. The five-colored feather fan in his hand flowed with five-colored radiance, generating waves of five-colored qi winds that tore through the air and directly attacked the three of them. To Lu Rui, Lu Lingxiao, and Zhou Detong, as peak foundation establishment cultivators, they were completely disregarded by Sima Sijia. Usually, they were just little cultivators who could be killed on a whim. Pingon, don't be distracted. Focus on killing the person in front of you first. At that moment, in the carriage where Ling Zixiao was, besides him and Lu Lingyi, there was another woman who looked exactly like Ling Zixiao. However, this woman, compared to Ling Zixiao, seemed to have a few more traces of allure in her eyebrows and eyes. The words had just been spoken. Ah! Sima Bo, who was vehemently contending with Lu Pingon, suddenly felt an intense pain in his divine consciousness, causing a spell of dizziness. Crack! The vast Shenhuang Mountains suddenly appeared cracked at this moment. And immediately after, boom! The punch from Lu Pingon was like a divine axe that splits heaven and earth, breaking through the qi wind. Ah! Accompanied by a tragic scream, the robust physique of Sima Bo, resembling that of a demon beast, exploded under this punch. Big brother! The other three, seeing this scene, were shocked and did not understand what just happened. How their own big brother could be defeated in an instant. Divine Consciousness Secret Technique. This is a Divine Consciousness Secret Technique. Be careful. Ling Zixiao, Sima Sijia, able to have such a renowned reputation, were naturally extraordinary. They instantly realized what had happened. Their big brother must have been secretly attacked by a Divine Consciousness Secret Technique, which caused him to be distracted, leading to his defeat. Otherwise, even if Lu Pingon in front of them was incredibly powerful and domineering, he would not be able to kill their eldest brother in one punch amidst their combined assault. Let's go, let's get out of here quickly. There's a big problem with Blue Lake Mountain Lu family. The three brothers, although heartbroken, also realized at this moment that with Lu Pingan's physical body combined with Ling Zixiao's Divine Consciousness Secret Technique, it would be difficult for the brothers to withstand. Whoosh whoosh whoosh! Sima Zhong continuously waved the five-colored feather fan in his hand, sweeping up qi winds like a vast ocean, covering the area to buy time for their escape. There's a formation ahead, Pingon. Strike down the person holding the array plate. In the carriage, Ling Zixiao's calm and indifferent voice sounded, noticing that the three were going to utilize the formation to escape. Buzz buzz buzz. Sima Shu, holding the array plate, upon hearing this, immediately felt horrified. Immediately after, a small bell in his mind started frantically ringing, indicating that a divine sense attack was targeting his soul. Nascent soul divine sense. How is this possible? Sima Shu's face was filled with terror. The small bell in his mind was a divine sense secret treasure designed to defend his mental spirit and fend off divine sense attacks. But at this moment, this divine sense had already surpassed the limits his secret treasure could handle. Instantly, Sima Shu's mind was in severe pain, and his mental spirit was in a trance. Spart! Lu Pingon stood majestic, aura radiating with golden treasure light, directly ignoring Sima Zhong's five-colored qi wind, standing firmly and punching directly at Sima Shu, whose body exploded into a mass of blood and mud. Even though Sima Shu was wearing a magical robe and had a spiritual artifact automatically protecting him, all defenses and body-protecting qi barriers broke down under Lu Pingan's golden fist. Third brother. Sima Zhong and Sima Ji, witnessing this scene, were utterly heartbroken and incredulous. But at this moment, the two were terrified out of their wits and had no desire to fight any longer. The brothers chose to escape separately. Because they knew that if they escaped together at this time, it might be even more dangerous. Pingon, the person holding the feather fan. Shower, the person holding the bow and arrows. In the carriage, Ling Zixiao continued to speak. Sir the Nelfer. Net website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. Both, having already transformed into escape lights, stiffened suddenly as their divine sense was damaged. Spart! Lu Pingon swiftly soared out, his fist flowing with golden treasure light, blasting Sima Zhong's body into pieces. Lu Lingxiao then drove the devastation flame towards Sima Ji. But even though Sima Ji's divine sense was in intense pain and his mental spirit was in a trance, his body still formed a body-protecting qi barrier, resisting Lu Lingxiao's devastation flame. Boom! Lu Lingxiao, imitating his elder brother, mobilized his qi blood. His physique glowed as he fiercely punched out. Yet, this punch merely threw Sima Ji backwards, smashing him to the ground as he spat blood, but it did not kill him. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1238. Sima Ji also regained some clarity from the severe pain in his divine sense due to the attack. His face twisted ferociously as he looked at Lu Lingxiao. But the next moment, Lu Pingon hurled the black dragon halberd over, like a ferocious black dragon descending from the sky, piercing straight through Sima Ji's chest, nailing him dead. Lingxiao, you can ask Father more about how to fuse your heavenly spiritual fire with the 100 Refinements treasure body art. Lu Pingon turned to his younger brother and patted his shoulder. He still clearly remembered, after the end of the Purple Shadow secret realm, the elder ancestor of the Su family came to hunt him and his brother Lu Chuanjin. In the face of the elder ancestor of the Su family, their father burned his body with a purplish-red heavenly spiritual fire and then vanquished the adversary with a punch. The heavenly spiritual fire of his brother Lu Lingxiao, though not as astonishing as their father's. But so long as he was given time to grow, it is not impossible to achieve the same. Yes, big brother. Through their time together these days, Lu Lingxiao had come to admire his elder brother profoundly. He also recognized the dominance of body cultivation and the 100 Refinements treasure body art from him. Ordinary cultivators, when facing the techniques of the same level, would have to defend against the onslaught with magical robes and magic artifacts. Yet his elder brother just now directly ignored the other's gang wind with his physical body, and even resisted the spiritual artifact arrows with his flesh. This kind of fierce fighting method, unless cultivators of the same rank collaborate in a group attack or possess some exotic treasure, they would have no way to counter it. This. Zhou Datong, watching Lu Pingon who seemed like a god or demon, was simply dry-throated and trembling in his spirit. To know, an existence like the Sima Sijia was someone he could only look up to in ordinary days. But such a renowned figure was now effortlessly suppressed and killed by this eldest son of the Lu family. Once this news spreads out, it's likely to shock the entire Jiang country cultivation realm. Because this is no longer the fighting strength of a foundation establishment cultivator. This eldest young master of the Lu family is quite approachable on regular days. He's in charge of the Lu Family Commerce Association. If I do my duties well, I might actually gain my freedom, and perhaps even a second-order breaking stage pill. At this moment, Zhou Datong fostered some thoughts of allegiance, thinking that serving the Lu family might not be so bad. So this is Big Brother's strength. With Big Brother here, what is there to fear on the journey ahead? The other Lu family disciples escorting the convoy also pulled themselves out of their recent fears, each one excited beyond measure. Although they had never heard of any Sima Sijia. But the spiritual pressure just now was the most terrifying they had ever seen. Merely a breath of air made their qi blood churn and breathing difficult. Yet such beings were all blasted to their death by their own big brother, uncles punch by punch. What could there possibly be to fear on the rest of their journey? Pingon, thank you for your hard work. At this moment, Ling Zixiao glanced at the thousand faces puppet fox beside her, and as her daughter Lu Lingyi stepped out of the carriage, she addressed the eldest son of the Lu family. Even though she was well aware of the capabilities of the thousand faces puppet fox, the effect just now was still beyond her expectations. Thanks to Auntie Ling. Lu Pingon knew that Ling Zixiao had taken action just now. Otherwise, even if he could win, he wouldn't have been able to kill all four. It could be said that these four were the strongest opponents he had faced since he set out on his path. Each of them had profound strength, and their techniques complemented each other. Now that the beasts of burden have been frightened, we can no longer continue on our journey. Pingon, you should also rest well, recover your condition, and wait for the upcoming battle. Ling Zixiao, dressed in a lake blue palace dress, her figure dignified and elegant, said with a light smile. The upcoming battle? Lu Lingxiao and Lu Rui beside her were both startled and somewhat surprised when they heard this. These four were the seeds of the Sima family's current generation. Rumors have it that the four had acquired an opportunity for inheritance, and their cultivation methods are enhanced when practiced together, not to say necessarily achieving core formation simultaneously, but they are also likely to reach false core. Now that the four are dead, the patriarch of the Sima family will certainly not sit still and will come to seek vengeance. With a slight smile and an offhand manner, Ling Zixiao said. The false core patriarch. The false core immortal. Everyone nearby was shocked upon hearing this. Even Lu Pingan's heart skipped a beat. Although he had advanced to the 8th layer of the 100 Refinements Treasure Body Art, he had just made the breakthrough recently and had not yet developed divine skills. If he encounters a false core immortal, the outcome may be difficult to predict. Rest assured, unless the Sima family sends 2 of their false core real people, or invites their mysterious turtle, there's no need to worry. This battle also serves to establish the might of our Blue Lake Mountain, deterring others from constantly seeking trouble with us. Ling Zixiao said softly. Even though she usually doesn't concern herself with family affairs, she had spent time understanding the power dynamics of the Jiang country cultivation realm, especially the family forces of the Qingyun region. After speaking, she turned to look at Lu Pingan and continued, after this battle, every move you make will be watched by others. Pingan will follow Auntie Ling's arrangements. Lu Pingan said with his hands clasped in salute. His father had instructed him, if he was uncertain about anything during this trade mission, he could consult Auntie Ling. Therefore, upon hearing the other party, he did not raise any questions and chose to trust. Mother, wouldn't this be too dangerous? Didn't father say that harmony is precious? Lu Lingxiao spoke up. Although he had faith in his mother. Sarch * the novel. F. Iyer. Et website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. Yet, this was essentially a confrontation with a false core immortal, which seemed too risky in his eyes. Ling Zixiao glanced at her son and spoke. It's true that harmony is precious, but excessive concession only makes us seem weak and susceptible to bullying, leading others to push us even further. Our family must now show some toughness to secure a footing for the Commerce Association. Besides, now that a fight has happened, even if we return to Blue Lake Mountain, the Sima family will still come looking for us. In that case, it's better to settle the grudges here directly. This battle will also signal to other forces that we at Blue Lake Mountain do not provoke trouble, yet we do not fear it either. Should anyone dare to trouble our family, they better weigh their options carefully. Moreover, the 6 false core families have always been fighting overtly and covertly. The Jin family already has a bad relationship with us. If we also antagonize the Sima family, the other families will surely be more than happy to forge good relations with us. Some of the family forces around the Sima family will also take the initiative to reach out and cooperate with us. Ling Zixiao patiently explained to her son, as for the wrath of the Sima family, there's no need to care about it. Although she approved of her husband's principles, she believed that sometimes it was necessary to be more assertive. While it may attract trouble and unwanted attention, it also prevents a lot of hassles. Furthermore, the events at the Red Leaf Valley Market, along with the continuous foundation establishment breakthroughs of the children at home, meant that the family situation couldn't be concealed after all. Instead of hiding and pretending, it's better to frankly reveal some information to others. If Lu Pingan shows false core strength, then our family would be completely regarded as a false core family. Isn't it quite normal for the family to have a few more foundation establishment cultivators then? As for the fact that Lu Pingan is so young yet has the power of a quasi-third order body refining and false core level. Although this matter is exaggerated and astonishing, it's not so shocking in the eyes of core formation cultivators and nascent soul true lords throughout the cultivation world. After all, the cultivation world is filled with countless opportunities and miracles. Why couldn't our Blue Lake Mountain Lu family produce a few individuals of great fortune? It's precisely because Lu Pingan has encountered great opportunities and fortune that he has such body-refining strength at a young age. It's also because of such miraculous encounters that our Blue Lake Mountain has seen a surge of foundation establishment cultivators. As long as we don't draw the attention of nascent soul true lords, these false core families, and even core formation noble families, are nothing but whetstones for my children's growth. The child understands. Lu Lingxiao nodded thoughtfully. In his younger years, his mother had taught him many life lessons. But having always been in Blue Lake Mountain, he felt that many of his mother's words clashed with what he had heard elsewhere. Only now, during this trip, did he start to grasp the meaning of some of her words. This trip has been rewarding. Xiaohe, go with your elder brother and sister Rui to sort things out. Ling Zixiao smiled at her daughter. The battle was bloody and brutal, and she didn't want her daughter to get too involved. But her daughter loved sorting through their battle spoils. Even if she did not get much herself, just being involved in the tally could make her happy for quite a while. Big pot. Lu Lingyi immediately looked at Lu Pingon with bright and sparkling eyes. Xiaohe, you and Rui will do just fine sorting things out. Big brother needs to rest for a bit. Lu Pingon patted her little head and grinned. He was preparing to restore himself to peak condition as soon as possible since he would soon face a false core real person. Although the previous battle only lasted a few exchanges, it was not small in consumption. Seeing her daughter happily calculating their gains with Lu Rui, Ling Zixiao also took her son, Lu Lingxiao, to set up formations around them and taught him about formation knowledge. While she downplayed this battle, she was also making preparations to ensure everything was foolproof, to avoid any accidents. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1239. Profound Martial Ridge. Sima Family Ancestral Hall. How is this possible? The Sima family head saw the 4 shattered soul plates in front of him, his entire body shivering uncontrollably, his face deathly pale. Not only was he afraid of the death of his 4 uncles, he also feared the wrath of the family patriarch after his uncles' deaths. After all, these 4 uncles were the hope of this generation for the Sima family, with future prospects of reaching core formation. Now, they had all fallen unexpectedly. My uncles were just going to deal with the Blue Lake Mountain Lu family caravan. How could they possibly fall in the outside world? Could it be that some other family's false core patriarch ambushed and killed them on the way? The Sima family head's body trembled continuously, muttering to himself, unwilling to believe this fact. No, this is absolutely unthinkable. If other false cores dared to commit such a taboo act, it would lead to an all-out fatal rupture with our Sima family. They definitely wouldn't dare to do so. Moreover, my uncles were extraordinary. Even a true pill master would find it difficult to kill them all. The Sima family head's throat was dry, his mental spirit quivering, suspecting that his 4 uncles might have encountered other dangers on the road. Not daring to think further, he hurriedly flew towards the top of Profound Martial Peak. Arriving in front of a cave mansion, he knelt down and shouted, "Patriarch, there's a great disaster." What issue needs such screaming and shouting? A deep, heavy voice filled with authority came from the cave mansion. CTH Novelfire, net website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. Patriarch, the Sima family head knelt in front of the cave mansion, his face deathly pale, his forehead dripping with sweat, his voice hoarse as he said, "Sima Bo, Sima Zhong, Sima Shu, Sima Ji, the soul plates of the 4 uncles, have shattered." What? An overwhelming magic aura billowed out from the cave mansion, hitting the Sima family head who knelt outside so hard that his whole body sank, his chi blood tumbling violently, leaving him with a heavy feeling in his chest. He didn't dare to move, prostrating on the ground, and with a trembling voice said, "Not long ago, upon hearing about the matters at Blue Lake Mountain, the 4 uncles went to intercept the Lu family caravan, saying they wanted to cut them down a notch." Blue Lake Mountain Lu family caravan? How could a mere Blue Lake Mountain Lu family kill the pride of my Sima family? An old man with gray hair, a rugged face, dressed in black brocade robes, walked out of the cave mansion. His eyes round and fearsome, looking at the Sima family head in front of him, radiating an intense oppressive aura. "Patriarch, I am also at a loss." The Sima family head trembled as he spoke. He knew well that their family patriarch was not someone with a good temper. It was only after breaking through to false core that he began to cultivate his disposition, becoming much more amiable. The Blue Lake Mountain Lu family. I remember that young lad Lu Chongxing and his wife cultivated a dual cultivation technique, their battle power comparable to a false core, also possessing a superior talisman formation art. The family patriarch spoke with an authoritative and domineering voice, his eyes sharp and penetrating, continuing to ask, "Could this Lu family caravan be personally overseen by Lu Chongxing and Lu Miaoge?" This Lu family caravan was presided over by the Lu family's eldest son, Lu Pingon, and Lu Changsheng's Dao companion, Ling Zixiao, the Sima family head replied. After finishing, he added, "A month ago, under Blue Lake Mountain's Red Leaf Valley Market held a foundation establishment elixir auction. During this event, Lu Chongqing did not show up, so it's not ruled out that Lu Chongqing was hiding within the caravan. Although he did not think that Lu Chongqing had the strength to kill his 4 uncles, he suspected that these 4 uncles could have encountered dangers elsewhere. But with the family patriarch in a fury, he would certainly pour out his rage. If he were to analyze the situation further, causing the patriarch's anger to have no outlet, it might fall on his own head. If Lu Chongqing and Lu Miaoge lack her presence in their dual cultivation technique, where would he get such ability? The patriarch Sima was enraged beyond measure, but still maintained his rationale. Patriarch, recently at the Red Leaf Valley Market, the daughter of Lu Chongqing, Lu Wangshu, alone with her talisman formation killed 5 Foundation establishment cultivators, indicating that Lu Changsheng's talisman inheritance is extraordinary, a top-tier legacy. Early in his years, just after breaking through to Foundation establishment, Lu Chongqing relied on his talisman formation to kill 3 Foundation establishment cultivators from the Yu family, thereby taking over by Lake Mountain. After so many years, nobody knows how advanced Lu Changsheng's talisman skills have become. If the 4 uncles were careless and fell into his talisman formation, it's possible that the Sima family head was speaking when suddenly he felt it made much sense. It was quite possible. Immediately lifting his head, he looked at his family patriarch with a grieving expression and said, "Otherwise, with the 4 uncles' strength, even a true pill master in a confrontational fight couldn't have killed them all. I heard from the 19th uncle that the soul plates of the 4 uncles shattered almost simultaneously, which is similar to Lu Changsheng's talisman formation technique. Patriarch, you must seek justice for the 4 uncles." The Sima family head cried out loud, a wave of sadness welling up in his heart. But as soon as the words left his mouth, his heart sank sharply. If Lu Chongqing could kill his own 4 uncles, if their own patriarch went, could he really kill him? Lu Chongqing, what a Lu Chongqing, daring to kill the pride of my Sima family, this old patriarch will annihilate your Blue Lake Mountain Lu family. Upon hearing this, Patriarch Sima was burning with rage. It should be noted that the 4 brothers Sima Bo acquired a great fortune back then, cultivating an unparalleled secret technique. When one of them aimed to break through to core formation, the other 3 could sacrifice their lives' origin source to assist, improving the breakthrougher's chances of core formation by 20 to 30%. With the Sima family's background, coupled with a secret technique, perhaps they could achieve a breakthrough to core formation for one person, catapulting their Sima family into a nascent soul noble family. But now, with the fall of the 4 Sima brothers, their great clan dream was directly shattered. How could he not be enraged by this situation? 3rd and 4th, are they at home? Notify them to come and see me. Patriarch Sima was beyond furious, his false core power permeating his surroundings, making the adjacent Sima family head feel suffocated, struggling to breathe. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1240. Although he was angry, he realized that it might be difficult to kill Lu Chongqing, who had slain 4 of his family's proud sons. After all, no one knows how many talismans a talisman cultivator has in hand. The 4th brother is at home, and the 3rd brother seemed to have gone to Thundercliff not long ago. Ia the Novel Fire. Net website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. The Sima family head said with some difficulty, "Little 4, come see me." The voice of Patriarch Sima thundered, and then he looked toward the back hill of his own family and called out in a low voice, "Black Shadow, whistle." A moment later, a whistling cry sounded. A gigantic goshawk with deep ink-like lustrous feathers spread its wings and approached. Its eagle eyes were deep and sharp, its beak curved and pointed, glistening with a cold metallic luster, and its talons were like refined steel, emanating a fearsome demon chi. For a false core family like the Sima family with a legacy of over 1,000 years, in addition to nurturing the family's children, they also raise several spiritual beasts to bolster their foundations. However, the most famous spiritual beast of the Sima family is a mysterious turtle left behind by Patriarch Sima in his early years. It is said that this mysterious turtle has extraordinary bloodlines, advancing towards a 3rd-rank demon king, and even the name of the family's territory, Profound Martial Ridge, is related to this mysterious turtle. 2nd uncle. A moment later, an old man exuding the spiritual pressure of Foundation establishment hurried over and saluted the Patriarch Sima who stood before him. Where is the Lu family caravan at this moment? Patriarch Sima's gray hair whipped wildly. his authority intimidating as he looked towards the Sima family head and asked in a deep voice. Based on the previous information, they should be near Jiulian Mountain. The Sima family head quickly responded. Little Four, come with me. Upon hearing this, Patriarch Sima's eyes glinted sharply with killing intent. He immediately took the elder named Little Four to the back of the black goshawk. Whistle! The goshawk let out a loud cry, stirring up a gust that swept everything away, as it flew out of profound Martial Ridge towards the direction of Jiulian Mountain. Meanwhile, Bihu Mountain, Lu family mansion, Lingxi Lake Xia family, Dayuan Mountain Yuan family, profound Martial Ridge Sima family. Lu Chongqing glanced at the letter in his hand, chuckled lightly, and said, "It seems that the events at Red Leaf Valley Market have dissuaded certain families with ill intentions from their schemes. And these few false core families can no longer remain seated idly." After the incident at Red Leaf Valley Market had ended, he had speculated that his family's caravan would be targeted. The several false core families of Qingyun region were likely to take direct action. Now, seeing the letter from Ling Zixiao, his guess was confirmed. However, the attitude of the Lingxi Xia family seems quite amiable. This shows that not all false core families bear malice towards his own. And that is also quite normal. The various false core families aren't united and are competitors to each other. Though Bihu Mountain is fierce in its rise, it bears no direct conflict or dispute, and none are willing to fight to the death. No one is so noble as to confront Bihu Mountain for the peace of mind of other family forces. Miaoyun, later have Xingyang send someone to Lingxi Lake Xia family for a visit and deliver an invitation, Lu Chongqing said thoughtfully to his wife, Lu Miaoyun, beside him. At present, the family is arranging the foundation establishment ceremony for Lu Wangshu. Given the current circumstances of Bihu Mountain, there really isn't much point in arranging a grand ceremony. A small family celebration would suffice. But this time, under the guise of Lu Wangshu's foundation establishment ceremony, they aim to invite other family forces to Bihu Mountain to discuss partnership opportunities and seek cooperative partners. After all, establishing a trade association cannot rely solely on their own family, Qingzhou Mountain, and Hundred Birds Lake. These few families alone are clearly not enough. Moreover, when it comes to a trade association making money, it's impossible for one family to monopolize everything without sharing any benefits. Doing so would undoubtedly make enemies of all forces. One's family couldn't handle everything alone. Therefore, cooperation is still required to form an interest group through the trade association. With shared interests, the cooperation between both sides will be incredibly stable. Eventually, other family forces would also be willing to wholeheartedly safeguard Bihu Mountain. All right, I'll have Yuner or Qingsong go there later, Lu Miaoyun replied. Though a mere visit or invitation could easily be communicated by sending anyone. Yet for a false core family like Lingxi Lake Xia family, their own family still needs to show respect. Lu Chongqing nodded, his eyes narrowing slightly at the mention of Dayuan Mountain Yuan family and Profound Martial Ridge Sima family on the letter. According to investigations by Xiao Xia and Xia Zhaoyang, these two families also had a hand in the trouble at Red Leaf Valley Market. However, both families had kept their actions clean. So far, only traces of a vassal family under the Yuan family had been found. The foundation establishment cultivator that Xiao Xia had killed with a single slap came from this foundation establishment family. Rumors have it that Tianyuan's secret realm has drawn the attention of quite a few nascent soul immortals to Jiang country, and even the death of White Peak Immortal is assumed to be the work of these demonic path nascent soul cultivators. Perhaps we should take this opportunity to give the Yuan and Sima families a bit of trouble. Lu Chongqing pondered inwardly. Having repeatedly ambushed demon kings in Myriad Beasts mountain range, he now had experience in laying ambushes. He just needed to come up with a way to make some noise, lure the patriarchs of both families out of their great formations, and then kill them instantaneously. If he was willing to take some risks, he could even use the fate-defying robe and 9 treasures Rui Bones' unsealing divine light to directly infiltrate Dayuan Mountain and Profound Martial Ridge. Forget it, we're not yet at that point. Besides, it's impossible for a family to rise without encountering some troubles and obstacles. After pondering for a while, Lu Chongqing shook his head, dismissing the thought. At present, in the vicinity, except for Jinlong Ridge Jin family, none could pose a challenge to his family. If he were to wipe out the Sima family and the Yuan family, the false core level powers, once his family extinguished the Jin family, there'd be no competitors left in the entire Qingyun region, aside from the beast-taming Su family. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1241. In such a situation, for the growth of our own family and the development of our children, it is not a good thing. Moreover, the growth of the family cannot solely rely on annihilating other forces in advance, right? Buzz! Just then, Lu Chongqing suddenly felt a slight tremor in the earth's veins of Bai Lake Mountain. Lu Chongqing furrowed his brows slightly, his pupils gleaming with a purple-gold luster, as he surveyed Bai Yun Peak before him. Bai Yun Peak, being the main vein of Bai Lake Mountain, is connected to the earth's veins through formations. Unless someone attacks the Great Formation, there shouldn't be any earthquakes. Indeed, these two branches have formed. Lu Changsheng's eyes shone brightly, seeing through the mountain rocks to the formation of two nurtured branches on Bai Yun Peak, a joyous expression on his face. The spirit vein of Bai Yun Peak should have advanced to second-order high quality long ago. It was the nurturing of these two branches that caused the delay. Husband, what's wrong? Search * the novel _fire. Et website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. Lu Miaoyun and Chu Zhenjin looked at Lu Chongsheng and asked aloud. Hee, the two small peaks next to us are finally shaping up. Lu Chongsheng said with a laugh. Regarding the cultivation of these two spirit vein peaks, he did not hide it, and many people at home knew about it. After all, the advancement of a spirit vein can still be somewhat concealed through methods. But nurturing small peak branches cannot be concealed at all. Immediately, Lu Chongqing called over his son, Lu Xingyang. He pointed to the small hillsides rising on the left and right sides of Bai Yun Peak and instructed him to evacuate the family members, telling them not to get close to here. Then he informed everyone in the family who was currently cultivating in meditation to temporarily stop their cultivation. Yes, father. Lu Xingyang had long known that these two small hillsides were spirit veins nurtured by Bai Yun Peak. Once the spirit veins are formed, the terrain of these two hillsides will rise slightly, forming a small peak. Mount Sumeru. After arranging everything, Lu Chongqing came to the summit of Bai Yun Peak and shouted towards Mount Sumeru, indicating that when the spirit vein of Bai Yun Peak advances later, it would suppress the spiritual mechanism of Bai Yun Peak and keep things quiet. After all, it was just over 30 years ago that the spirit vein of Bai Yun Peak had advanced to second-order superior. If it now advances to second-order high quality, that would make his family seem exceedingly affluent. Yes, master. The light and pleasant voice of Mount Sumeru sounded in Lu Changsheng's mind. Rooted on the spiritual vein of Bai Yun Peak, it merely needed to suppress the spiritual mechanism and swallow the excess of nature's spiritual energy into Mount Sumeru Cave Heaven. Then there wouldn't be any disturbance. At most, the elevation of the terrain would increase slightly. But as long as it is not advancing to a third-order spirit vein, the change in terrain won't be too exaggerated. Rise! After instructing Mount Sumeru, Lu Chongqing performed the dragon-seeking art with his hands, causing Bai Yun Peak to tremble slightly, as if shaking. Within the earth's veins, the spiritual mechanism flowed, and suddenly, the two small adjacent hillsides began to rumble as sand flew and stones scattered. Moments later, a surge of gray-black energy spread from the small hillsides, and the terrain began to rise slowly. This signifies the formation of the spirit vein, with the dispersing of the earth-fiendish miasma. What's this commotion? A spirit vein is forming. Aside from Bai Yun Peak, Lake Heart Island, and Lingtsue Cliff, our home is gaining another spirit vein. Not just one but two. So this is the formation of a spirit vein. How wondrous and mystical. Many Lu family disciples, apprentices, and visiting noble servants who heard the commotion gazed toward the two hillsides beside Bai Yun Peak, all astonished beyond measure. After all, the formation of spirit veins is something most people have only read about in books. Seeing such a spectacle now, they felt greatly enlightened. Even through linking branches with Bai Yun Peak, nurturing such a branch vein would require at least 2 or 3 spiritual origin pearls, right? Spiritual origin pearls. I remember such spiritual spring items are worth tens of thousands of spirit stones each. Yes, and such treasures are priceless. Only big families like Bihu Mountain have the strength and financial resources to acquire them. A few observant visiting noble servants, witnessing this scene, expressed their sentiment aloud. Even though they all had unique skills and earned nearly 100 spirit stones per month, to purchase a single spiritual origin pearl, they would need to work hard for half their lifetime without spending on anything else. And for Bihu Mountain to cultivate 2 spirit veins at this time, their efforts would not be enough even if they worked until death. An hour and a half later, the 2 hillsides beside Baiyun Peak had calmed down, becoming 2 small peaks about 10 meters high. Although they are only first-order high quality, now that the spirit vein has formed, subsequent nurturing will be easier. Lu Chongqing looked at these 2 small peaks, a faint smile on his face. In his hands, with the origin source of the spirit vein, not to mention the 2 peaks before him, he could nurture 3 to 5 more to second-order high quality without any problem. However, for these 2 small peaks, he had no plans to nurture them to second-order yet. He would first cultivate them to first-order high quality, then wait for Ling Zixiao to set up a formation to conceal the situation before deciding on further cultivation. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1242. Baiyun Peak now has an abundance of spiritual energy, so it's possible to plan for several foundation establishment cave abodes. Lu Chongqing withdrew his gaze, looking toward the spirit vein of Baiyun Peak, contemplating silently. The spirit vein of Baiyun Peak, upgraded to a second-rank top grade, not only has its overall spiritual energy density increased, but the Xiantian spiritual vine rooted upon the vein also thrived a bit more, exuding pure and rich spiritual energy. In such a situation, it is possible to connect to the spirit vein and establish multiple foundation establishment cave abodes for the family members to cultivate in. After all, previously, there weren't enough foundation establishment cave abodes to go around in the family. Therefore, no cave abode had been allocated to the children. They were each given a small wooden hut in the Mount Sumeru cave heaven. It's a pity that I can't see the state of destiny. I don't know how much effect the promotion of the spirit vein has on gathering destiny. With sparkling eyes, Lu Chongqing gazed at the Xiantian spiritual vine, brimming with vitality like green jade, flowing with profound spiritual mechanisms, and contemplated silently. After assessing for a moment, Lu Chongqing returned to the Lu family mansion. Husband, what are the names of these 2 small peaks? Chu Zhenjin, dressed in a pale pink skirt, with a gentle and lovely face, possessing both the innocence of a young girl and the charm of a young wife, asked Lu Chongqing. Names? Zhenjin, do you have any ideas? Lu Chongqing was quite indifferent about the naming of these peaks. After a brief discussion, the 2 peaks were named Xuanfu Peak and Bailian Peak. Xuanfu hints at auspicious signs from heaven. The Blue Lake Mountain Lu family is renowned for the talisman path, so the new spirit veins being cultivated in the family should also bear some relation to the talisman path. As for Bailian Peak, it was where Lu Chongqing planned to integrate the earthly fire vein he had acquired into this peak, constructing alchemy and artifact refining workshops. After naming the 2 peaks, Lu Chongqing asked his son Lu Xingyang to start planning the development of the 2 small peaks, and then called for his son Lu Yun. Sir, the novel Fire. Net website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. Now that the spirit vein has formed, naturally heaven and earth spiritual plants can be planted for the cultivation of the heavenly longevity technique. Although the 2 small peaks are only first-grade high-quality spirit veins, incapable of sustaining third-rank heaven and earth spiritual plants, the spirit veins of the small peaks are not independent. They're connected to Baiyun Peak, and can draw upon its spiritual mechanisms. Moreover, Lu Chongqing intends to continue investing spiritual vein origin into the 2 small peaks, so maintaining the vitality of the spiritual trees should not be a big problem. Furthermore, he has Lu Miaoyun, Lu Miaohuan, and Chu Zhenjin in the family. As long as there is no major issue with the spirit plants, the 3 women can stabilize their life forces through the heavenly longevity technique. Greetings, father. Having heard Lu Changsheng's call, Lu Yun quickly arrived to greet him. In my possession are 3 heaven and earth spiritual plants. One is called the dragon blood tree, another the fire mulberry tree, and the third the golden fire vine tree. You may choose one of them to cultivate the heavenly longevity technique, Lu Chongqing said as he flicked his fingers, conjuring a water mirror that displayed images of the 3 heaven and earth spiritual plants, allowing Lu Yun to make his choice. 3 plants. Surprise crossed Lu Yun's heart. He knew the value of heaven and earth spiritual plants. He never expected that his father would possess 3 of them. Looking at the 3 spirit trees before him, Lu Yun thought for a moment and then made a respectful inquiry. Father, what are the effects and characteristics of these 3 spirit trees? If we are speaking of appearance, the golden fire vine tree is the most attractive, followed by the fire mulberry tree, and lastly, the dragon blood tree. After deciding to cultivate the heavenly longevity technique, his mother, Lu Miaoyun, had detailed the intricacies of this cultivation technique. He knew that the effects and characteristics of the technique were closely related to one's lifespan spiritual plant. So, given the choice, he naturally would not only consider the outward appearance but also sought to choose a lifespan spiritual plant that more closely matched his own. Effects and characteristics? Lu Chongqing pondered slightly and then explained, this dragon blood tree was originally a 1,000-year iron tree, nourished and transformed by Jiaolong blood and flesh, containing the origin source of the Jiaolong. Therefore, if used in artifact refining, its power and effectiveness are extraordinary. If used to cultivate the heavenly longevity technique, it might somewhat benefit one's physical body strength. The fire mulberry tree is a fire attribute heaven and earth spiritual plant. Cultivating fire attribute techniques nearby would be twice as effective. If used for the heavenly longevity technique, one should be able to obtain fire-related abilities. The golden fire vine tree lies somewhere in between, as a heaven and earth spiritual plant with metal and fire attributes. Lu Chongqing succinctly introduced the three spiritual trees' effects. He naturally knew that after foundation establishment with the heavenly longevity technique, a foundation establishment seed would be condensed. However, he did not know the abilities and effects of the foundation establishment seed condensed by these three spiritual trees. Father, I choose the dragon blood tree, Lu Yun stated after listening. He planned to refine the heavenly longevity technique, achieve foundation establishment, and then, like his father, begin to have many children. The fire mulberry tree and the golden fire vine tree were not much help in this regard. The dragon blood tree, transformed from Jiaolong blood and flesh nourishment, if it could enhance physical strength, that might be somewhat beneficial for his future. The dragon blood tree, Lu Chongqing chuckled upon hearing his son's prompt decision. Having broken through core formation and awakened the Tai divine soul, even without deliberate focus, he could still capture some emotional and spiritual fluctuations of his children. Thus, through his son's words, he roughly guessed the latter's intentions. All right, since that is the case, let us plant this dragon blood tree on top of Xuanfu Peak, Lu Chongqing said with a smile. He then led Lu Yun, Lu Miaoyun, and Chu Zhenjin to the summit of Xuanfu Peak. Ling Zixiao was not at home. Arranging formations indeed posed some inconvenience. Therefore, Lu Chongqing directly deployed a small reversed 5 elements array he carried with him to shield the surroundings, and then extracted the dragon blood tree from the system space. This dragon blood tree bore some resemblance to the luminous treasure tree, with no leaves but branches gleaming with dark gold luster. The patterns on the tree's surface were twisted and meandering, resembling a ferocious and terrifying flood dragon coiled around it. Quite intimidating. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1243. At the very instant the dragon blood tree appeared, an invisible oppressive aura pervaded the air, startling Lu Yun beside it as if he were facing some terrifying fierce beast. Seeing this, Lu Chongqing flicked a finger and dissipated this pressure for his son, saying, this dragon blood tree is nurtured with the blood and flesh of a Jiaolong, thus it bears a touch of dragon's might. On normal days, just try getting used to it. But if you really can't bear it, bow in the direction of Baiyun Peak and call for Elder Mount Sumeru. It will lift this mightiness for you, Lu Chongqing said to his son. In his view, the aura of the dragon blood tree was quite beneficial. It would be good to let the children of the family come and experience it. If they could adapt to such pressure, even an energy refining cultivator would be able to face a foundation establishment cultivator's spiritual pressure head-on. Yes, father. Lu Yun looked at the dragon blood tree before him, delighted at heart, thinking to himself that this truly was worthy of a third-rank heaven and earth spiritual plant. Afterward, Lu Chongqing planted the dragon blood tree and had Lu Miaoyun and Chu Zhenjin stabilize the vitality of the spirit plant. Then he handed the array plate of the small reversed 5 elements formation to his son, Lu Yun, so he could come over and refine the spirit plant by himself on regular days. Having dealt with Lu Yun's matters, Lu Chongqing then integrated a clump of spiritual vein origin and earth Sha fire vein into Xuanfu Peak and Bailian Peak, respectively. After finishing these tasks, he took Lu Miaoyun and Chu Zhenjin back to the mansion to relax and continue with his own business of child-rearing. Jiulian Mountain, in a stretch of mountains dozens of miles away. A trading caravan was encamped here. If it weren't for the Sima family having set up the formation in advance, It would be somewhat troublesome to set up a high-rank formation during this period. Ling Zixiao held an array plate, leading Lu Lingxiao and several Lu family disciples as they arranged the formation. As they detected that Sima Shu had set up a formation here in advance for an ambush, she simply modified the existing formation, allowing the formation to take shape quickly. Rui sister, what is this? Inside the compartment, Lu Lingyi and Lu Rui were sorting through the storage bags of the Sima Sijia, occasionally taking out an item and asking her sister. If Lu Rui didn't recognize something, she would then ask their mother, Ling Zixiao. This is a half-segment of ghost spirit vine, probably worth around 700 spirit stones. After looking it over for a moment, Lu Rui spoke. Since the family had arranged for her to manage business matters, she had spent considerable time identifying heavenly and earthly treasures over the years. Ghost spirit vine. 700 spirit stones. Lu Lingyi nodded her little head, then took out her notebook, illustrated the ghost spirit vine, and noted the price. Ghost spirit vine is quite beneficial for Yin spirits and ghost cultivators. Little'n could probably use it. Xiaohe, give this ghost spirit vine to your big brother later. Lu Rui had seen the ghost slave that accompanied their eldest brother and continued to speak. Yes, yes. Lu Lingyi nodded her little head and placed the half-segment of ghost spirit vine into her storage bag. After a while, the sisters finished sorting through the storage bags of the Sima Sijia. Spirit stones, spiritual artifacts, elixir medicines, spiritual medicines, and other heavenly and earthly treasures amounted to a total value of nearly 300,000 spirit stones. After Lu Rui calculated everything, she felt somewhat dazed. After all, it had been decades since she'd seen so many spirit stones. An ordinary foundation establishment family, excluding various expenses, would consider an annual profit of 10,000 spirit stones as quite good. Even if they set up a trading caravan, a single trade journey would only yield a surplus of around 10,000 spirit stones. Lu Rui felt a wave of emotion in her heart. Suddenly, she understood why at every stage of cultivation, energy refining, foundation establishment, core formation, there were always robber cultivators. Because earning money through hard work, no matter how diligent, was nowhere near as fast as robbing. For this caravan journey of 4 months, we earned a little over 2,000 spirit stones. Brother dealt with these people along the way and the spirit stones he gained are almost 400,000. Could this be the real reason father established the caravan? Lu Rui pondered suddenly. However, she immediately shook her head to dismiss the thought. Her father was a man of integrity and gentle nature. Like a modest gentleman, how could he possibly accumulate wealth in such a way? Moreover, those they encountered and eliminated along the way were the ones who sought trouble with them first, attacking as soon as they met. *** the novel. F. Iyer. Net website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. Even with families like the Ling Xixia family, as long as they were not overly aggressive, her eldest brother would not strike harshly. Sometimes, Lu Rui would lament that her brother was too upright, inheriting this trait from their father. Auntie. Lu Rui came out of the carriage and reported the sorted gains to Ling Zixiao. That's some wealth. Ling Zixiao heard and laughed softly, not too moved by the 300,000 spirit stones. After all, the family had been spending money like water over the years. 300,000 spirit stones was hardly a significant sum. It only meant that the Sima Sijia were relatively well off among family cultivators. Yet in the eyes of a loose cultivator, it hardly lived up to the reputation of these four. Rui, thank you for your hard work. Later, after your brother has made his selection, the rest should be converted into family contribution value, Ling Zixiao said. Currently, Bihu Lake Mountain had a family contribution system in place. It appeared somewhat perfunctory, however. The main reason was that Lu Chongxing provided too many benefits. In other powers, family disciples had to earn breakthrough elixirs and foundation establishment elixirs through contributions and competition. Whereas in Bihu Lake Mountain, as long as one reaches the peak of qi refining, they can directly receive rare pills like the Foundation Establishment Elixir and Three Suns Elixir. For some who perform outstandingly or those favored by Lu Chongxing, they receive a pile of good things without spending any contribution values. Because of this, the family contribution system was merely a family welfare for the Lu family disciples. Through family missions, the contribution points obtained enable family members to enjoy discounts when purchasing rare elixirs, magic artifacts, and talismans that are uncommon on ordinary days. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc. Please let us know report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1244. Okay. Lu Rui nodded and asked if there was anything he could help with regarding the formation. Several days later. Near Julian Mountain. What's going on? Why has the Lu family caravan stopped moving? Could it be that they have given up? That shouldn't be the case. There seemed to be no losses in the Lu family caravan previously. I saw the Sima family going to trouble the Lu family caravan just before. Why is it suddenly so quiet? Not just the Sima family. I heard that the Wuxia family, Dayuan Mountain Yuan family, and Shinfeng Valley Feng family all had made moves, but there has been no follow-up news. Could it be that all their interceptions failed? Lost face, so they remain silent? That's unlikely. This caravan isn't led by Lu Chongsheng and Lu Miaoge personally. Due to the incident at the Red Leaf Valley Market, many Foundation establishment powers gave up on ambushing the Lu family caravan, but they still sent people to keep an eye on the situation. These past days, seeing the sudden inactivity of the Lu family caravan, everyone was puzzled. But they, fearing trouble, dared not get too close and were also unaware of the situation. What's going on? Isn't it the Sima Sijia from the Sima family who took action? With those four personally intervening, why is there still no movement? A cultivator dressed in a grey robe was puzzled. He hailed from Golden Dragon Ridge. Thus he knew the Sima family would make a move. Previously, he had also heard about the Sima Sijia planning an ambush in Julian Mountain. But seeing that there's been no activity for so long, he couldn't help but wonder. While these powers were filled with doubt, thinking whether to approach and probe. Screech! A dark shadow was seen soaring towards the direction of Julian Mountain from afar in the sky, accompanied by a high-pitched cry. The shadow grew larger and larger, causing the sky to roar with hurricanes and the clouds to look bleak. Search * the novel Fire. Net website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. Upon closer inspection, it was a majestic mighty eagle with black feathers. On the eagle's back, one could vaguely see two figures standing. Which power is this? Could it also be coming for the Lu family caravan? This eagle, it somewhat resembles the black-scaled eagle of the Sima family. Some cultivator recognizing the black divine eagle speculated it could be the spiritual beast of the Sima family. However, considering that the Sima Sijia had already taken action earlier, it was uncertain if this was the Sima family's black-scaled eagle. Meanwhile, at the Lu family caravan's camp. They're coming. Patriarch Sima, maybe. Ling Zixiao and Lu Pingon both sensed something and looked towards the sky. Seeing a black hawk rushing in their direction with a menacing presence. Lu Rui, Lu Lingxiao, Zhou Datong, and other disciples of the Lu family also looked up at the sky, observing the increasingly large hawk. A false core true master, perhaps. This hawk appears quite extraordinary. It might be a second-order top-level monster beast. Apart from Ling Zixiao, everyone else felt a bit tense, as if facing a formidable enemy. Even Lu Pingon was somewhat nervous, unsure whether he could handle it. But alongside the nerves, Lu Pingon also felt a mixture of anticipation and excitement. Curious to see the gap in strength between himself and a false core true master. On the black-scaled eagle, Patriarch Sima extended his divine sense to search the surroundings for the whereabouts of the Lu family caravan. Moments later, he saw the Lu family caravan camped in the distance, and his anger surged. Based on previous information, the Lu family caravan should have moved far away by now. Staying here meant they had not moved for a long time. Does this mean the Lu family caravan was waiting for him to arrive? Very well, very well. What a cunning Blue Lake Mountain Lu family. Patriarch Sima's face darkened, and his eyes filled with murderous intent as though he felt provoked, leading the black-scaled eagle to descend towards the location of the Lu family caravan. Profound Martial Ridge, False Core Patriarch Sima Tong, Third Elder Sima Tai. Moments later, as Lu Rui recognized the two people on the eagle's back, his pupils shrank sharply. He immediately transmitted a message to his elder brother to inform him about these two. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc. Please let us know report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1245. Lu Chongxing, come out. Patriarch Sima in a black robe with a stern face, didn't even glance at Ling Zixiao, directly raised his hand, his pseudo-Dan-level mana spiritual pressure spreading, and struck towards the merchant convoy with a palm. Boom! With a casual strike from the false core immortal, the mana surged like a mountain torrent, forming the outline of a giant palm. Humph! Not far away, the tall and sturdy Lu Pingon snorted coldly, leaving an afterimage in his original spot. His fist gleaming with golden light, smashing Patriarch Sima's attack. Lu Pingon knew that this was not the time for words. After breaking the attack, he shot forward, closing in on Patriarch Sima, his golden fist emanating wild wind and thunder, continuing to strike out. Not good. Patriarch Sima and the 3 elders of the Sima family who accompanied him were all startled, not expecting Lu Pingon in front of them to be so fierce. However, Patriarch Sima, after all, being a false core immortal, was extraordinary, and in the instant Lu Pingon attacked, he exhaled deeply. A stream of dark light flew out, turning into an ancient black ruler, filled with the aura of magical treasures. Bang! Lu Pingan's golden fist struck directly on the black ruler, causing a loud noise, mana energy surging outward like a landslide and tsunami in all directions. Screech! The black-scaled eagle beneath Patriarch Sima cried out at once, spreading its wings. If it weren't for Patriarch Sima suppressing it, it might have flown away in fright at that moment. Not far away, Ling Zixiao formed a gesture incantation with both hands, creating a bright blue light barrier in front of him, blocking the aftershocks. So this is a false core immortal. Big Brother actually crossed fists with a false core immortal. Lu Rui, Lu Lingxiao, Zhou Datong, and others witnessing this scene were all shocked, somewhat dazed. Even though they knew Lu Pingan's combat power was extraordinary, seeing him confront Patriarch Sima directly still shocked them. Go Big Pot! Not far away, Lu Lingyi, unaffected by the atmosphere, without much concept of a false core immortal, cheered for Lu Pingon with her little fists clenched. Who are you? The ruler in front of Patriarch Sima flowed with dark light, exuding a heavy and vast aura like a mountain. After a brief exchange, he saw that Lu Pingon in front of him was extraordinary. This physique, likely a quasi-third-order body refiner. If he didn't have a magical treasure, this punch might have severely injured him. Blue Lake Mountain, Lu Pingon. Lu Pingon with a resolute face, his angular features determined, said solemnly. In his words, his fists glimmered with brilliant golden treasure light, continuing to strike out. Each punch brought an astonishing momentum, like a mountain roar or tsunami, stacking up layers of wind and thunder energy. Lu Pingon. Sar the novel _fire. Et website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. Patriarch Sima seldom paid attention to affairs and had not heard of the name Lu Pingon, unaware when Blue Lake Mountain had produced such a person. Lu Pingon, you are Lu Changsheng's eldest son Lu Pingon. How could you possibly have such strength? Sima Tai, who recognized Lu Pingon, hearing this, suddenly exclaimed aloud. In earlier rumors, this eldest son of the Lu family was only at the initial stage of foundation establishment, but due to being a second-order middle-stage body refiner, his combat strength was extraordinary. But now, to withstand a magical treasure from his own patriarch through sheer physicality. This level of body refining, even if not quasi-third order, would be second-rank peak, wouldn't it? Screech! The black-scaled eagle beneath them cried out again under such pressure. This battle was turning its body into a battlefield. Although it was extraordinary, as a second-rank late-stage demon beast, it still struggled to withstand the aftershocks at such close range. Chi! Seeing this, Patriarch Sima used a hand to form a gesture incantation. The black ruler in front of him spun incessantly, its dark light flowing, bursting with a horrifying aura like the abyss, and then striking towards Lu Pingon in front of him. Boom! Although the ruler looked small and delicate, its strike could split mountains and overturn seas. Bang! At this time Lu Pingan's physique fully recovered. His towering body surged a bit higher. His chi blood roaring and surging like rivers, with smoke of blood rolling straight into the sky above his head. His right arm's muscles rose like dragon snakes, accompanied by infinite and surging violent strength. He struck out. Boom boom boom. The collision of the mountain tsunami-like golden treasure light and the abyss-like dark divine light exploded, making the area seem like it was exploding. Is this a battle at the pseudo-Dan level? Even separated by the formation, Lu Rui, Lu Lingxiao, and others were terrified. This esteemed eldest son of the Lu family actually possesses pseudo-Dan combat power. After this battle, the Qingyun region's 6 false core families will likely count one more, the Blue Lake Mountain Lu family. Zhou Datong's throat was dry, thankful that this eldest son was kind-hearted. Otherwise, if the opponent made a killing move with one punch, it would have been over for him. So this is Pingan's combat power. No wonder Lord said with Pingan around, there will be no trouble. Ling Zixiao looked at the two combatants, her graceful face revealing a smile. She had been worried before that Lu Pingan, facing an old-look established false core from the Sima family, would find the gap too large. But with a magical treasure by Patriarch Sima's side, even if Lu Pingan had the upper hand initially, he was still no match for Patriarch Sima. Under the endless, like a torrential sea, the terrifying dark light, Lu Pingan's figure stepped back several steps. You all retreat. Patriarch Sima also looked serious, speaking to Sima Tai beside him, asking him to take the black-scaled eagle aside to plunder formation. Otherwise, in their clash, he'd have to be distracted protecting another person and beast. Is it you who killed the pride of my Sima family? Patriarch Sima's deep and intimidating eyes looked at Lu Pingan. With such a disturbance, Lu Chongsheng and Lu Miaoga hadn't appeared yet. He realized that Sima Bo and his 4 likely died at the hands of Lu Pingan in front of him. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1246. Lu Pingan remained silent. Qi and blood roared within his body, his organs resonated with metallic sounds, and his heart thumped like the drumbeats of gods and demons, invoking the pseudo-divine abilities condensed by the 100 Refinements treasure body art to push his physical body to the extreme. Otherwise, in his current state, he knew that defeating Patriarch Sima was impossible. What? Your Sima family ambushed the Lu family caravan, and I've yet to seek an explanation from you on behalf of By Lake Mountain, yet you wish to accuse us instead? Ling Zixiao spoke up from the side, her calm and indifferent voice carrying an indescribable authority, showing no sign of weakness in the face of this false core immortal. While speaking, one of her hands held a glowing array plate, the other formed gesture incantations. Whoosh whoosh whoosh, the ground beneath the formation trembled as talismans broke through the soil, arranged in all directions, their energies interweaving, creating a formidable array. She had spent a great deal of time and effort in her early years studying the art of talisman formations, combining them with her own array techniques. Anticipating the visit from the false core patriarch of the Sima family, she had embedded some talismans into the underground formation in advance to prevent the enemy from being on guard when she deployed the talismans during combat. Talisman formation? The talisman formation art of Lu Chongsheng. Patriarch Sima and Sima Tai were both startled at the sight of those countless talismans. After all, the art of talisman formations had no small reputation in the cultivation world. And By Lake Mountain was also well known for its mastery of talisman formation art. Now that they witnessed Ling Zixiao deploying such a method, the two were naturally surprised. Talisman formation. Lu Lingxiao, having heard his mother discuss the knowledge of talisman formations before, guessed that his mother was proficient in it. Auntie can use talisman formations too? Lu Rui was somewhat astonished, not knowing that her aunt also possessed her father's art of talisman formations. Wind, fire, sky screening, great formation. Ling Zixiao's mind stirred, and 365 talismans formed a formation with the surge of wind and fire, screening off the sky in all directions, enveloping Lu Pingan, Patriarch Sima, Sima Tai, and the black-scaled eagle within. It seems that this is how you slew our family's proud son, using such means. Well then, go to hell for this old patriarch. Number 3, take action. Patriarch Sima, upon seeing this situation, was completely unafraid. The art of talisman formations was indeed astonishing. But his journey to becoming Sima Tong didn't involve only virtuous feats. Moreover, not only was he present, but also Sima Tai, at the 8th layer of foundation building, and a black-scaled eagle, a spiritual beast of second-rank late stage. Mountain-shaking fist. Thunderclap. Lu Pingan, seeing that the talisman formation was complete, didn't hesitate for a moment. His silver armor surfaced on his body, and his fists radiated golden brilliant light, striking towards Patriarch Sima like thunder and lightning. Ling Zixiao had already discussed this battle with him earlier. Now that the talisman formation was established and sealed off heaven and earth, the two fighting would be in his favor. Number 3, You and the shadow break the formation. Patriarch Sima commanded, his hands forming gesture incantations, as a dusky ruler shone with roving light, complex runes surfacing upon it, exuding tremendous might as they were cast towards Lu Pingon. Sar the Novel Fire. Net website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. Simultaneously from his storage ring, a cyan bowl-shaped object hovered above his head, its aura flowing like a coiled tortoise and snake, guarding him. Yes, second uncle. Sima Tai patted his belly, summoning a diamond-shaped spiritual artifact and fetched a purple mirror. This mirror had the ability to break through illusions, geared to find weak points of the talisman formation, and thereby shattering the talisman. Still trying to break the formation? Ling Zixio's beautiful eyes were clear and spirited, her dignified and elegant posture now imbued with an air of intimidating majesty. Instantly, talismans vibrated, stirring the wind and fire like a wind-fire flood dragon, ferociously launching towards Sima Tai and the black-scaled eagle, displaying their fearsome form. Screech! The black-scaled eagle let out a mournful cry. Caught in the talisman formation, its large form and lack of magical artifacts rendered it like a stationary target. Its wings spread wide, attempting to break the formation, yet they were charred black by the wind and fire. Damn it, how does every member of By Lake Mountain have so many second-rank talismans? Sima Tai, through his purple mirror's reflection, found that Ling Zixio's talismans were of extremely high quality, nearly 100 of them being second rank. Their energies were so well integrated that they left no room for exploitation, rendering him unable to break through. Number 3, hold on for now, her talismans won't last long, Patriarch Sima remarked, seizing the black-scaled eagle back into the spiritual pet bag, speaking to Sima Tai. He too realized the might of this talisman formation was not simple. But depending on external objects, I want to see how many talismans you have. Patriarch Sima glanced at Ling Zixiao and snorted coldly. Then, he continued to look at Lu Pingon saying, if you had magical treasures by your side, it might be difficult for me to slay you today. But with bare hands and relying on just your physical body, you seek to forcefully confront the magic artifact of this old patriarch. It's simply courting death. With those words, the leveling ruler shone with spiritual light, its might surging as it continuously smashed towards Lu Pingon. At the same time, his hands ceaselessly formed gesture incantations, sending wave after wave of soul-shaking darkness towards Lu Pingon. Open mountain, overturn river, wind and thunder, thunderclap. Lu Pingan's expression unchanged, his spine undulated like an azure dragon, his body shining brightly, every cell bursting with violent energy, causing his veins to swell prominently. This was his first time fighting with such full force, using this battle to test his own strength. Boom boom boom. Lu Pingan's fists and feet moved. Simple movements felt like the attack of thousands of troops and horses combined. Yet no matter how fierce his offense, Patriarch Sima's leveling ruler remained like a timeless divine peak before him, too difficult to surpass. However, facing Lu Pingan's onslaught, even Patriarch Sima was inwardly shaken. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1247. Unable to discern what kind of body refinement technique the opponent was cultivating, it was exceptionally domineering. Each move and style seemed to possess a bit of the power of magical treasures. Such a commotion is astonishing. Did the black-scaled eagle just head towards the Lu family caravan? Could it be that this black-scaled eagle really belongs to the Sima family, and it's going to intercept the Lu family caravan? Wasn't it just recently that the Sima Sijia were planning to make a move on By Lake Mountain? Could it be that the Sima Sijia failed to intercept them? This level of commotion feels beyond a normal Foundation establishment battle. Meanwhile, near Jiulian Mountain, many from different forces noticed the spot where Patriarch Sima fell and, facing the direction of the intense commotion coming from afar, speculated about what was happening. As the battle continued for a long while, some cultivators couldn't hold back their curiosity, approached cautiously, and wanted to see what was happening. Talisman formation. Ling Zixiao, the lady of the Lu family, actually knows the art of talisman formation too. Who is fighting in this talisman formation? It's astonishing. This is Sima Tai from the Sima family's 3 elders. Who are these 2 people? The one in the silver armor is Lu Pingon from By Lake Mountain. Isn't he at the middle stage of second-order body refinement? Something seems odd here. Who is the elder battling him? Some cultivators reached a few miles away from the Lu family caravan's encampment, watching the battle from afar, deeply shocked. Lu Rui and Zhou Datong, seeing this, immediately soared into the sky, guarding from both sides to prevent any cultivators from sneaking closer. Lu Lingxiao stood guard next to his own mother. Ling Zixiao was deploying the talisman formation, and it would be dangerous if someone approached and attacked. But only Ling Zixiao knew that inside their carriage sat a seductively beautiful woman. As long as Lu Pingon faced danger, the Thousand Faces puppet fox would immediately take action. Boom boom boom, inside the talisman formation, the roaring sounds were ceaseless. Lu Pingon and Patriarch Sima continuously bombarded each other. Whenever Lu Pingon was at a disadvantage, Ling Zixiao would intervene through the talisman formation to alleviate some pressure on him. CTH Nafire. Et website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. Damn this talisman formation. Patriarch Sima was extremely frustrated in his attacks. If it were a one-on-one fight with Lu Pingon, he was confident he could defeat him. But fighting like this, a swirling tempest of thunderfire would suddenly strike him, which was incredibly frustrating. He glanced over at Sima Tai. Seeing him enveloping himself with a bronze bell to dodge the offensive power of the talisman formation, he felt a mix of disappointment and frustration. Younger brother, take action. He shouted loudly, signaling Sima Tai to help share some pressure. If Sima Tai could withstand most of the talisman formation's assaults and deplete it, he believed he could assure the defeat of Lu Pingon. Yes, second uncle. Sima Tai wanted to refuse, indicating not to trouble him. But since his own ancestral master had spoken, he dared not disobey. Immediately, he made a gesture incantation, mana surged, and he suspended the bronze bell above his head, driving his life-bound spiritual artifact towards Lu Pingon. You dare to show yourself seeking death. Seeing this, Ling Zixiao snorted coldly, hands forming gesture incantations. In an instant, within the talisman formation, winds and fire swept across, vines grew wildly, and frost descended from the sky, targeting Sima Tai. Ah, second uncle, save me. Sima Tai hurriedly pushed the bronze bell to its limits, shrouded with strands of gray mist. Yet even so, he still felt a mix of cold and hot sensations, with vines binding his legs. Damn it! Patriarch Sima, seeing this, had to split his focus, sending a spell to relieve Sima Tai from the talisman formation's assault. However, at that instant, Lu Pingon seized the opportunity. His fists, golden and overflowing with storm through, created numerous afterimages, hammering towards the leveling ruler. Boom boom boom, as if heaven and earth were being destroyed, the strength of the punches made the magical treasure continuously tremble, causing the face of this true pill master, Patriarch Sima, to suddenly turn white as he hastily drove his own life-bound magic treasure. How many talismans does this woman have in her hands? Patriarch Sima, seeing Ling Zixiao occasionally replenishing talismans, also realized that it might be challenging to withstand until the talismans were depleted. Break the formation, let's go! Immediately, he made up his mind, preparing to break the formation and escape with Sima Tai. Pingon. Ling Zixiao instantly recognized his intention and alerted Lu Pingon. Lu Pingon, moving like a dragon, his silver armor showing several damages. But his muscles still shone brilliantly, as if forged from gold, with a silhouette of a black dragon faintly visible around him. At this moment, his Black Dragon Codex, along with 100 refinements treasure body art running at its peak, caused his Black Dragon Dao Foundation and Foundation Establishment power to surge, sensing an opportunity to break through from the initial stage of Foundation Establishment to the middle stage. Fellow Taoists, please stop, I came here on an important matter to discuss. Patriarch Sima, seeing Lu Pingon in front of him like a war god, unstoppable, still decided to speak from his heart. Otherwise, continuing to battle like this, even if he could break the talisman formation and escape, he would still be severely injured and pay a great price. This false core patriarch, is he admitting defeat? Lu Rui, Zhou Datong and others hearing this, looked towards Patriarch Sima within the talisman formation, their expressions somewhat dazed, thinking they had misheard. After all, this was a false core patriarch. Even though they knew their older brother was extremely powerful in battle and saw their aunt deploying formations, it still seemed unbelievable. Important matter to discuss? Ling Zixiao, hearing this, had a cold gaze, scoffed. Without stopping her hands, One talisman after another blended into the talisman formation, continuing to bombard Patriarch Sima. "You presumptuous maid! You've gone too far!" Patriarch Sima burst out in anger. He, a high and mighty false core patriarch, was willing to lower his head and give way, but Ling Zixiao, a mere foundation establishment cultivator, was humiliating him like this. "If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc. please let us know report so we can fix it as soon as possible." Chapter 1248. His eyes brimming with murderous intent, he looked at Ling Zixiao and took out 2 talismans from his storage ring. Upon activation of the 2 talismans, one of them formed a layer of dazzling golden light, enveloping his entire body in protection. The other talisman transformed into a gigantic fireball, a full 10 feet in diameter, and charged towards the talisman formation. These were third-rank talismans. He had spent a great deal of money to procure for self-defense. He hoped to use the talismans to break the talisman formation and thus slay Ling Zixiao. As long as Ling Zixiao was dead, he was confident he could deal with Lu Pingon. Third-rank talismans. Ling Zixiao had already anticipated that a false core patriarch like Sima Tong would have plenty of tricks up his sleeve, so he immediately cast a talisman towards the talisman formation. This talisman was extraordinary, clearly exuding the aura of a third-rank talisman. Boom boom boom. As the wind and fire sky covering formation absorbed this third-rank talisman, it instantly turned into rolling thunder, extinguishing the fireball and then streaking towards Patriarch Sima. Patriarch Sima's face turned pale with shock at this display of power as he exclaimed, "Third-rank talismans!" You must know, within the entire Jiang country cultivation realm, the number of third-rank talisman masters was countable on one hand. His few third-rank talismans were acquired at great cost. And now before him, Ling Zixiao too possessed third-rank talismans. Rumble! The divine thunder talisman broke through the fireball and bombarded Patriarch Sima, who quickly urged his bowl-shaped spiritual artifact to its limit, yet the resplendent golden sheen of his body dimmed significantly. Boom boom boom. Seeing this, Lu Pingon continued to advance and attack with overwhelming ferocity. CTH Nafire. Et website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. Whoosh! Ling Zixiao formed a gesture incantation with both hands, integrating another third-rank talisman into the talisman formation, causing Patriarch Sima to shudder in terror. Ling Zixiao, is your by Lake Mountain truly intent on committing such an act of annihilation? Patriarch Sima immediately yelled out loud. At this moment he was afraid. If Ling Zixiao had several more third-rank talismans, he might well meet his end here today. An act of annihilation? Your Sima family has repeatedly provoked my by Lake Mountain and intercepted the Lu family caravan. If we do not kill you today, where does the dignity of our by Lake Mountain stand? Ling Zixiao's hair was pinned up high, her brows fierce, radiating an inviolable and proud demeanor. If you kill me, it will be a fight to the death with the Sima family. Patriarch Sima continued to shout, trying to deter her with the threat of his family. The Sima family not only had 2 false core experts, but they also had significant ties within the Qingyun sect. Fight to the death? Today you bullied the weak with your strength, and later, I will personally go to your profound martial ridge with my lord to seek an explanation. I'd like to see if your profound martial ridge can withstand the onslaught of my lord's mountain-shaking formation and the 1,000 talisman great formation. It's also not a secret that my lord has been promoted to a third-rank talisman master, and I am curious just how many of his third-rank talismans your turtle shell can withstand. Ling Zixiao stood with dignity, her voice calm yet indifferent, exuding a lofty and authoritative grandeur that seemed to scornfully look down upon the world, possessing the power to grant life or deliver death. Third-rank talisman master. What? Lu Chongqing has been promoted to a third-rank talisman master? Patriarch Sima and Sima Tai, hidden inside the bronze bell, both had a drastic change in complexion and were startled. Although a third-rank talisman master was not the same as a nascent soul immortal. Even nascent soul immortals would give some respect to a third-rank talisman master. After all, they too needed third-rank talismans in their daily lives. Even if not for themselves, they might seek several of these for their descendants to carry for protection. Moreover, Lu Chongqing was no ordinary talisman master. He had inheritance in the talisman path and was adept at talisman formation techniques. If he was willing to spend a large number of third-rank talismans to set up a formation, false core immortals would be no match for him. No wonder this woman has so many talismans, including third-rank ones. So it turns out Lu Chongqing has ascended to a third-rank talisman master. Patriarch Sima was filled with regret. If he had known this information earlier, he would never have come here so rashly. At this point, he felt like he was stuck in a difficult situation. After all, if Lu Chongqing was truly a third-rank talisman master, a clash between the two families could very well have an unpredictable outcome. This matter is our profound Marshall Ridge's fault. I implore Lady Lu to show mercy. Regarding today's affair, my Sima family is willing to offer compensation. Patriarch Sima, while wielding the leveling ruler to fend off Lu Pingan's assault and looking at the two third-rank talismans on the talisman formation, spoke with a somewhat hoarse voice. He knew that he had lost. To continue fighting would mean only to self-destruct his false core in a desperate struggle. Better to concede defeat early before getting seriously injured, and offer compensation. Moreover, he realized that since Ling Zixiao had not activated that third-rank talisman immediately, it indicated she had no intention of killing him outright. Bai Lake Mountain also did not want to utterly fall out with his family and end up in a full-scale fight. If the two families were to fully engage, it would only benefit other families who would watch with glee as both suffered serious damage. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1249. If your Sima family is willing to offer adequate compensation, the Lu family can accept negotiations and cease hostilities. Ling Zixiao's expression was cold and authoritative as she looked at Patriarch Sima inside the talisman formation, speaking indifferently. She didn't directly kill him, not because she feared a scenario where both parties would suffer extensively. Simply by having Lu Pingan suppress Patriarch Sima in front of her, to establish authority and then question the Sima family, was more in line with her family's interests. The Lu Family Commerce Association is currently facing several issues in opening up the market. With Lu Pingan serving as a publicly known false core level deterrent, things would go much smoother. Moreover, buying shops in the big marketplace is very troublesome. Because prime location shops are like cash cows, no one is willing to let them go. If one could go through the Sima family, it would be much simpler. Furthermore, among the 6 major families in the Qingyun region, aside from the Jin family which has a shallow foundation in Qingyun sect, the other 5 have been in business for over 100 years. If the killing process is too sensational, it may attract the attention of the Qingyun sect. This old man is willing to offer 300,000 spirit stones and equivalent heavenly and earthly treasures as compensation, Patriarch Sima said in a heavy tone. 300,000 spirit stones is not a small sum for any family. But he set this price, assuming that Ling Zixiao wouldn't actually want to fight with his family, and offering a way out would be enough. However, upon hearing this, Ling Zixiao immediately formed a gesture incantation with both hands, activating the third-rank talisman on the talisman formation, launching it towards Patriarch Sima. Boom! 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 Patriarch Sima hurriedly activated his spiritual artifact bowl to its limits to fend off the attack. But his bodily shields and the bowl were smashed to pieces by the divine thunder talisman. Ling Zixiao, do not push me too far, this old man has already agreed to make reparations. If you push me into a corner, I would rather self-destruct my nascent soul. Patriarch Sima shouted angrily. Having his nascent soul seed killed and still having to apologize was already extremely humiliating for him. In such a situation, Ling Zixiao moved to brutal measures without further discussion. Did she really think he, the false core patriarch, had no pride? So he issued a fierce statement, vying for bargaining power. Self-destruct the nascent soul? On hearing this, Lu Rui, Zhou Detong, and Lu Lingxiao and the others at the side were all startled and frightened by Patriarch Sima's declaration. CTH Novelier. NET website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. A nascent soul cultivator's self-destruction is immensely destructive. Even though Patriarch Sima was a false core immortal, the self-destruction of the inner core would also be extraordinary. However, Ling Zixiao's countenance was ice-cold, completely unfazed by Patriarch Sima's words. Pushing too far? Your Sima family provokes and wishes to settle deep grudges with a mere 300,000 spirit stones. If word of this spreads, wouldn't it be known that my Bai Lake Mountain is easily bullied? So, those 300,000 spirit stones, Patriarch Sima, you can keep them for yourself. As for the self-destruction of the nascent soul, I'd like to see the power of your false core, Patriarch Sima, and whether it can break my talisman formation. Ling Zixio's eyes were bright and clear, her noble and elegant face radiating an inviolable sacred authority. The self-destruction of a nascent soul cultivator is indeed extraordinary. But how many can actually do what those light words convey? Even ants cherish their lives. Who would choose self-destruction without facing true desperation? Moreover, there's a saying in the cultivation world. When nascent soul cultivators die, they carry a wisp of their soul to reincarnate, possibly awakening their innate wisdom in the future and continuing their cultivation journey. But if they self-destruct, both the physical body and soul will perish with the nascent soul, erasing all traces from the world, forfeiting the possibility of reincarnation. Although to cultivators, reincarnation is elusive and its existence uncertain. Still, very few cultivators who have reached such a stage are willing to abandon the thought of reincarnation. Besides, Patriarch Sima showed his willingness to concede before he was seriously injured, which clearly showed he wasn't the resolute type to easily choose self-destruction. However, the confidence Ling Zixiao had in making such threats also came from the thousand faces puppet fox provided by Lu Chongsheng. Otherwise, if Patriarch Sima truly became desperate and self-destructed his false core, they would also be in great danger. As Ling Zixiao spoke, 3 more third-rank talismans flew out of her sleeves. These 3 talismans did not integrate into the formation but simply hovered in front of her. Third-rank talismans consume a lot of mana and divine sense. Her cultivation level being only at the 4th layer of foundation establishment, if not for her divine sense being comparable to the peak of foundation establishment, it would be difficult to control the talisman formation and activate third-rank talismans simultaneously. Patriarch Sima, seeing these 3 talismans, had his eyes shrink sharply, and he said solemnly, "What compensation would Lady Lu require to cease hostilities?" "Your profound martial ridge will compensate with 1 million spirit stones, 3 spirit lands, and 30 shops in the marketplace of my choosing. Open all your trade nodes, and for the next 100 years, you are forbidden from retaliating against my by Lake Mountain." Ling Zixio's robes fluttered as her pleasing voice carried an undeniable authority. Gasp! Lu Rui, hearing this demand, turned to look at her aunt and took a sharp intake of breath. She remembered that the Sima family, including Profound Martial Ridge, had only 6 spirit lands in total, and her aunt had asked for 3 right off the bat. Plus 1 million spirit stones and 30 marketplace shops, opening trade nodes. Even she felt that her aunt was asking for the moon. Impossible! Patriarch Sima immediately bellowed, his entire false core level spiritual pressure boiling over. If it weren't for Lu Pingon standing in front of him blocking his way to break the formation, he would have been desperate to smash Ling Zixiao to death. Such terms, she certainly had the audacity to demand. Even for a false core family like the Sima family, with 1,000 years of heritage and profound depths, it was impossible to produce 1 million spirit stones at once. Not to mention 3 spirit lands, 30 shops, and other humiliating agreements. Since it's impossible, then there is no need for further discussion. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report so we can fix it as soon as possible.